up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going, Healthy Warrior Game?
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to the dive bar of the IWC. Welcome to episode 1 of Wrestling on the Rocks. That's right. Every show is our first show. I'm at Ref Marsh. We're at WTR the show. With me today, we got Mr. Sportsbeard. Say hello, Sportsbeard.
Hey, everybody.
And making his big return, the other half of the Ironics. Got Kevlar on the rocks. What up, Kevlar?
What's up, guys?
He's like, already pissing me off.
Yeah, I don't know how big of a return it is, but I'm here.
It's a big return. Always a big return. It's like Drew McIntyre. He'll disappear for like a week or come back, and they announce his return.
Dude, hold on. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. You can grab that.
Did you not remember I was doing the show?
You have to mute too, but I'm gonna start with something real simple. So nothing happened in the news so far as I can tell for at least 2 weeks. Not a single thing.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds about right. Let's start real simple, really easy going, especially while Beard's grabbing his phone there. Kev, what's in your glass? What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Big Wave. No glass today. Straight bottle.
Big Wig, straight up bottle. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having the last of my Jameson cold brew before I'm sure that stuff goes on clearance and becomes toxic. But I'm enjoying it while it's fresh. And then let's see. Mr. Beard, what's in your glass? What are you drinking?
The old staple, boys. The Arizona Special. I call it the Arizona Special because I found out about this drink in Arizona. But it's the little Terramana, little grapefruit juice, little seltzer water. We call it a Paloma in some circles. But I love it.
Terramana Paloma.
I'm on that Terramana, man. That shit is so good.
Dude,
that is good tequila.
Yeah, it was
shout
amazing.
Out to Rock.
Yeah, shout out to the Rock.
Speaking of which, he was at the Super Bowl. If you did not see,
we're gonna get there. We'll get there in just a minute. What I was gonna say, we're on the same Terramana train. When your wife was in Arizona, we were able to have dinner with her and grab a drink. We go to the bar next door and they had Terramana, and then we're like, oh, looks like we're having margaritas all night. And producer lady got very sloshed. It's a lot of fun. Margaritas
are my weakness.
It's your weakness, and Terramana just makes it smooth.
Or my power.
Or your power. And I do want to shout out before we get into the news, and we're going to start off with that big rock news with Flow State Coffee. Flow State Coffee is specialty grade coffee with L-theanine and raw cacao for creativity and productivity. Gives you better energy, focus, and mood than a regular cup of coffee while decreasing negative side effects like jitters and crash, anxiety, blood pressure, those things. If you go to newwave.co, NOOWAVE.co, and put in promo code CHEERS, you can get 10% off any of their ongoing deals, or even if they don't have deals, and they just launched their K-Pods. So check it out, guys. Get in on it. Just in time in the chat already. Episode 1, hype. Woo! Cheers, Wednesday night friends. Cheers to Just in Time of In Time Wrestling
Cheers.
Podcast. So I do want to make mention exactly what you were saying, Beard. The Rock hosted the Super Bowl, and the WWE presence in the Super Bowl was incredible. What do you got, Beard?
Sorry, I just noticed that we're getting the Twitch chat now on YouTube. You must have set that up and didn't tell me.
Oh, you know what? I didn't notice. I hit a thing to see how it was going to work. It's called Relay Chat. And it said that it was going to push the chat through.
It does. It says Restream brought, but it says Twitch Just in Time 211. If you want me to read it, I will. But I didn't want to, since you already read the Twitch ones usually. So I want to
That's a good call. There. I didn't know if it was going to launch that way or how it was going to work. So I'm glad that you told me how it's looking on your side. I would say, for sake of ease, do you want to just read the chats as they come through, whatever it says on your screen?
That would be great. Yeah, that'd be great. That gives me something to do when I don't have a ton to say when you guys start, going.
Gives you a focus. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, yeah, The Rock hosted the Super Bowl. I wanted to say this because I think that there's a lot of people, especially guys like the toxic Micah himself. Him and I were in a heated argument, and talking about how AEW is a threat to WWE. And I was like, did you not even watch the Super Bowl? Because, like, just to start with, is it a threat? They're not in the same conversation. They're two completely different things doing two completely different products and having different aims. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're both successful in their realm. But here we are watching the Super Bowl. It opens up with a WWE promo. Literally opens up with, finally, the Super Bowl has come back to Los Angeles by The Rock.
It had been like 29 years. And I want to say...
Yeah.
They used to have, they should be there every year. It's just like Vegas. The NHL All-Star Game should be in Vegas every year. That was such a good time. Justin Time says, Marsh pressed something. It worked out perfectly.
Yeah, seems to have. That's what sets IT apart from the rest of the world. We're not afraid to push buttons and just see what the fuck happens.
We're making strides to episode 2.
Making strides to episode 2. That's right, Kev. We'll get there. We just got to push enough buttons and we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But so it opened up with The Rock. During the show, it had a commercial for WrestleMania that was overdubbed by Pat McAfee. And then it ended with the champions running around with a WWE title. I was like, this is the best Super Bowl ever.
Justin Time says the NFL pretty much became the XFL for one night.
I think it,
Yeah.
I honestly think, part of me thinks, and then I'll sorry to cut you off, but I do think that this actually will elevate XFL. The Rock hosting Super Bowl, when the XFL launches, he comes out and does a similar thing. People are going to be talking about both, and I think it will help bring XFL to a higher light than it had before. What were you about to say, Kev?
Well, the thing with the championship belt is they always do that. And then, but everything else definitely was awesome. Yeah. And I think it'd be cool if, one day a world champion actually came out with an AEW belt. I don't know how customizable it is. Just,
just in general?
Yeah.
Like if the Jaguars won, they should be walking around with an AEW belt.
Well,
yeah, that's not going to happen.
It's funny that you bring up the championship belt thing because they just interviewed Bruce Boudreau. If you don't know Bruce, he's the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. And they asked him, because Vancouver is using, like, for every night, they give a guy a championship belt. The
Coyotes do the same thing.
Like this. Anyway, as I have my own championship belt here, they asked Bruce, they go, what are your 5 favorite wrestlers of all time? And Bruce Boudreau, if you didn't know him, used to coach my team, the Caps, so he's hilarious. He goes, well, they're all going to be Canadian, and then commences to name Stone Cold and The Rock. But he first named Bret Hart, and then he named Kevin Owens, which I love. So that means he still watches pretty regularly. So,
cool.
So
that's really cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Oh, and then the other thing of note as far as Super Bowl goes, that I have to say on it, and you guys can say whatever you want on it, is all that stuff that WWE got there, the exposure, the commercial time, the thing. WWE didn't have to pay for any of it because they're in deals with NBC Universal, so they didn't have to pay for the WrestleMania commercial. It was just added. They didn't
Good thing because it was $7 million for 35 seconds.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean.
That
I don't
money could
understand
be
contracts,
used,
but that's a good
and
deal.
that money could be used to sign talent or keep talent or bring back talent.
Or
No, that's why they had to
talent.
cut it so they could afford it.
Micah in the chat says, "Hey pals, what's going on?" Hey Micah, good to see you, man.
See, that's how this dude gets you. Man. He starts off all polite like that, and then he just gets so toxic. That guy.
He'll stab you in the back like Sasha Banks.
Yeah, Mike is the Sasha Banks of
backstabber. I'd let Sasha Banks stab me in the back.
I can't argue with Beard on that one. Anything else you guys want to say about Super Bowl as we move through?
No.
Oh, you know what people had? I saw a lot of people upset about this. WWE, I don't know if it was WWE on Fox or BR WWE or some random WWE thing. tweeted out a thing about halftime and said, "But where was he?" and posted a picture of John Cena circa 2002. And people were really fucking upset about it, and it got deleted. And people were all like, "Can you believe how they would?" It was this whole thing. People were just like flipping out about it, and they're like, "See, they know they said something stupid, and oh, look at them. They had to delete it because it was so racially insensitive." And I was like, "No, they were making a joke about rappers, and everyone twisted it, so they took it down because they said this is weird fast."
I will tell you, if John Cena, I know he's not from LA, but if he would have been in that, it would have been cool. And if you've heard some of his work, like Steph is a big hip hop R&B. She likes John Cena. And she doesn't watch wrestling. So, I mean, and I'm telling you, that fucking Peacemaker show is so good.
He was there. Cena was at the halftime show. He was right next to Eminem. You just couldn't see him.
Couldn't see him.
He was at the, you couldn't see him. Oh, wow, Kev, yeah.
No, that's what the tweet was about. It was about him being there and you couldn't see him, but...
That's funny. I felt like it was just a big thing about because it was all rappers from the 2000s, and John Cena was doing Thugonomics at the same time.
Everybody except for Mary J. Blige, who's originally from New York, but is like transcendent. And Eminem is from Detroit, but really got big when he signed with Dr. Dre and his label and stuff. But pretty much all of them were from LA. I mean, Snoop fucking grew up in like he lives in Long Beach. I mean, he's from there. Dre's from there. I mean, Dre was in NWA. I mean, I would have thought it would have been cool. I mean, Ice Cube would have been cool if he was on the stage. I know there's some
like Ice Cube.
Yeah, what? But there's some controversy with him because he hasn't gotten the vaccine or whatever. So
I gotcha.
Everybody wants to.
The thing is like regardless if they're from LA or not, all the songs they were singing, apart from Kendrick Lamar, came out in like 2000, 2001. You know what I mean? Like, so it wasn't just that it was 2000s, and it wasn't just that it was LA. It was all those things combined. And that's what I mean. Like the joke was that John Cena was rapping at the same time, and it made it funny because it was stupid and ridiculous, and people really twisted it to make it something it wasn't. I just thought it was weird.
Well, see, when I looked at the halftime show, I thought it was more so Dre and Snoop, and then anyone that was like underneath their wing kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Third best halftime show of all time, in my opinion. That show was incredible. Yeah. And I'm not like, okay, nobody can blame when Paul McCartney sang songs that were 35 years old. I saw a lot of white old people saying shit about this because they don't follow it, but I'll just say this, like, I thought it was incredible. I thought the performance was incredible. Dre playing on the piano was awesome. However, look on YouTube/Twitter for the mashup of the Venetia "Make 'Em Away Downtown" like they do it with, like they sync it with all the stuff going on stage. It's hilarious.
That's pretty good.
And Dre playing the piano and everything, really funny. I'll say this. The best of all time is Prince playing in the rain, playing Purple Rain. Fucking incredible. I don't even remember the Super Bowl. That halftime was so good. And my second favorite of all time is the year the Giants beat the Patriots. Tom Petty played. Fucking Tom Petty rocks. Tom Petty's one of the greatest of all time. Shout out Tom Petty. But anyway.
Nice.
We'll see. Real quick, I know we're getting derailed, but I think the halftime show at I forgot which Super Bowl number it was, but in 2000, the last one that MTV produced, and it had that rotating stage, and it had like Britney Spears, NSYNC, Nelly, Aerosmith, and Run DMC. That one was fucking awesome.
That was pretty cool too. That was a good one. That can be top 5, Kev. I mean, I just named it as.
Yeah,
a lot of people were saying Prince because that's how good that performance was.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeremiah, you want to wrap up? Put a button on this one with the chat.
Micah says, "I'm convinced myself that Tupac hologram would appear." Micah, I heard that from a lot of people. Yeah. And I think people go, "Oh, the Tupac hologram did not." That would have been cool for California Love, by the way. But if the Tupac hologram didn't show up for the Super Bowl, I think it's safe to say that Tupac is actually dead. So. One of the greats. Don't get me wrong. Love Tupac.
Probably.
How amazing would it have been if that's where he comes back? Like if he was still alive. He just walks out there like the world would fucking break.
Well,
It'll be
first of
funny,
all, if I was
just
a
like-
cop investigating that murder, I'd be fucking pissed because I'd be like, I've been investigating this for 30 fucking years.
Can you imagine? He
Live?
comes out on stage, and just the entire stadium just goes dead silent. Everyone's just all like, "What the?"
That would not have happened in LA. You know.
All right, let's move it along. Let's keep going. Let's dive into the wrestling stuff specific. I know we were talking Super Bowl and the wrestling involved in the Super Bowl. And just to start it off and get it a little bit out of the way early, the sad stuff. Mickey J. Henson, referee from WCW and WWE, passed away this just a couple days ago of COVID pneumonia, and really sad. I'd always heard nice things about him. I'd always heard he was a cool guy. I almost bought a used wrestling referee shirt off of him one time. Really good price, but ultimately it was like a black polo, and I was looking for stripes and just didn't do it. But awesome guy, really cool. Really sad that he passed away the way that he did in a sterile hospital. So tears in our beers to Mickey J. Henson.
I don't remember.
Cheers.
Well, you know what's funny, Beard, is I feel like he was so good because I've watched a bunch of matches where he was in it. He was so good that he was one of the referees that you do kind of forget. He was very much the type to blend into everything and only show up when he was supposed to be there, which was a notable professional like highlight. You know what I mean? Like he was so good that people go, "Oh shit, you're right, he was there." You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of thing he would have taken pride in, is the fact that you kind of forgot about him, to be honest.
Micah says 20,000 teenagers in the stadium would have had any idea who Tupac was.
That's funny.
Yeah. I actually think a lot of them would have known. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You were talking about the
probably.
ref that passed away.
And then the other thing we have news-wise that was just kind of a notable, Devon Dudley had back surgery. They fused 3 of his discs together, but it was successful. It took a lot longer, and apparently it was a lot more complicated than anticipated. He posted about it today, thumbs up, so cheers to Devon Dudley on that. He said he's going to be able to play basketball against his kid, and he's supposed to be a brand new man after this. He did say that he was told he can't wrestle anymore, to which he also said, which is fine because I had no intention of doing that anymore.
Well, how old is he? He's got to be like close to 60, right?
Yes, I think he's right in that area. So, yeah, absolutely. But cheers to him for having a successful surgery. He was a producer. I think he still is, but he was a producer backstage at WWE for a long time. Yeah, I've only heard good things about him too, especially in that regard.
That's cool. Yeah, no, I mean, he's one of the old time. Is that the white guy?
It's the black guy in the Dudley Boys.
Okay, yeah, Bubba Ray was the white guy. Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
I just hadn't seen him on my TV in like 25 years, so give me a pass.
Yeah. No. Yeah, and one of the legendary tag teams of all time. Let's see. All right. This one might just be for me and Beard. I don't know if you saw this, Kev. Kev, did you see Brock Lesnar was on the Pat McAfee show?
No.
Yeah, Friday. Monday. The only show he did this week.
Yeah.
He was in Indianapolis for Raw, obviously. I think it's his last appearance on Raw for a while, is what they said too. What a great conversation, by the way. If you didn't like Brock Lesnar before, you're gonna like. What a good dude, man! Like, what a freaking great guy. Like,
I actually heard more people in my wrestling atmosphere. More people I heard were annoyed at the antics of the guys on the show, the constant whats and stuff, like just the brouhaha of it all, which is funny. But everyone I know said that Brock was just incredible in that, and I saw it.
Okay, IWC that doesn't watch Pat McAfee's show, they do that every fucking day, regardless of who's on the fucking show. It doesn't matter if fucking Brock Lesnar's on there, and it didn't bother Brock because he was having fun saying it too. So.
Yes, but I think that I think that people anticipate that they do that a lot, and they said it was like the dude was the guy who mentioned it was the guy from Ireland, and he goes, I don't know if I'm going to check too many more of Pat McAfee and his Drunken Lad Boys podcast, or Ladcast he called it, and I just laughed at it, but I did watch it. It was really fun, and Brock Lesnar was having a lot of fun with the what thing, and Brock Lesnar was doing Stone Cold Steve Austin impressions. It was cool, man. I liked how much he opened up about how introverted he is.
Yes. Yes.
I
It was
saw-
a great.
I saw it reported that he talked about anxiety, but I also think that was incorrect.
Well, I think if you don't like being around a lot of people, you have fucking social anxiety. It used to be considered, oh, he just doesn't like being around people. No, you have social anxiety. I fucking know. So, I mean, like, I know because I have fucking horrible ass anxiety. Brock breaking the table made Micah fall over laughing. I thought because Pat was like, "Don't break the table," and then it was so funny. Brock's like, "You just signed $100 million. You got this piece of shit table." It was so funny. Anyway, I digress.
So-
Look, I don't want to break down the interview sentence by sentence. It was a fun, great interview. That was it.
Yeah, I agree. But what I was saying, just to finish up my comment real fast, also as someone who deals with anxiety, but is also very much an introvert, there is a difference between being exhausted after giving yourself to an audience or even to a bunch of people and having the social anxiety. He never used the term anxiety, so I don't want to put that in his mouth necessarily. No. But he did say that it takes a lot of him to go out and perform in front of all those people, and he needs to go home and recharge. And that's something I've talked a lot about, especially after going to like a party. I need to go home and be quiet and put on my headphones and just recharge, because it feels like there's an exhaustion of being almost like forcing yourself to be extroverted for the sake of it. And he kind of does that with performance. And so I just thought it was really notable, really cool that he talked that much about how much he's doing it because he loves it, how much it kind of blows him up in a certain sense emotionally to where he's got to go recharge and come back. Like, it was really cool, and he was super open in there, and I thought it was great. So definitely worth a listen. Kev, let's talk about it real quick. 2K22, they announced all the ratings or a lot of the ratings, at least for a lot of the talent, including talent who are no longer signed with the company. They showed footage of Karrion Kross and such, which I thought was interesting. You and I were talking a little bit beforehand about the pre-order stuff and why you and I are both hesitant to actually get a pre-order at this moment. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because I don't think a lot of people are talking about it. I think they should.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yep.
Well, I mean, are you guys? So we talked about this before the show, but let me clarify. You guys are pissed that you're not getting swag with the special edition. Is that?
Yes.
Am I correct?
But,
yes.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know about your video game buying habits. I'm a diehard gamer. Mm-hmm. I have not bought a disc version of a game in like a decade, 10 years. Well, the only reason I had some is when Brady died. I inherited some shit that he had bought. And I live in Alaska. So I get it, but I understand going, well, I mean, I guess you could send away for it a Funko or something. And to me, like a Funko, you're paying $100 for a freaking the digital deluxe or whatever it is, 110. I have a PS5. What I want to know is if Marsh gets it on PS4, can I play him? That's what I want to know. Was it cross-platform? Because that's all that matters. I think that's all that matters. In video game world now, is there not a bunch of shit you have to buy? Like in-app purchase is bullshit. Unless you get it for free by buying the digital deluxe. And can you play it cross-platform? Because to me, I should be able to play whoever can sustain. A guy on a computer, whatever.
Well, you guys, I don't think it's cross-platform if you guys are on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5.
That's true. It's still PlayStation. I think that's true. But I think that it is notable in one aspect that's how you purchase stuff. But me and Kev purchase stuff differently. I only get physical discs. I don't buy digital copies of almost anything. Kev, did you want to break down a little bit of what some of the previous deluxe versions sort of had?
Yeah, I mean, a couple years ago there was this Ric Flair Funko Pop, and what was it last year? Was Rey Mysterio or Edge or somebody else a signed something card or something. They had one year they had a John Cena Royal Rumble mat where he won number 16 and he signed the picture in the little frame thing.
Yeah. And the Ric Flair one, it had the Ric Flair Funko Pop. It had a piece of his one of his robes. It had a replica Hall of Fame
ring.
Yeah, and the thing is like these are the same prices that they're having for the deluxe now. So the deluxe now is still the same, like $120, but you're only getting the downloadable content, where before you were getting the game with the downloadable content and a bunch of cool collectible stuff. So to me, it feels like we're depreciating the value of it.
Yeah, you're paying. It's the old adage: you're paying more and getting less.
Yeah, you're spending the same amount of money, but not getting any of the cool collectibles to go with it. So to me, that kind of bummed me out. And then the other thing is that their 2 pre-orders packages, there's like, because it used to be like you got the pre-order, but if you pre-ordered the deluxe, you got literally everything that they were releasing at all, or you got the standard one and you can like buy downloadable content as you go. This one has 2 separate pre-order packages where you either can pick getting the New World Order stuff, or you can get Rey Mysterio gear and the Undertaker. And I don't like that there's not like just an overall deluxe that you just get everything plus cool stuff. Like they broke it, they segmented it and made it more expensive, and that kind of annoyed me.
Yeah, like an ultimate edition.
Yeah, do an ultimate premium edition or something.
Yeah, and the NWO one, I think you get China too.
That's cool.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay for the most expensive one because I haven't bought one since like 2014. Also, Micah on the chat says, Marsh, we have to play 2K20 on PS4. I believe it's 2K22. Is it not?
Yeah, but I have 2K20 and so does he, and it's a mess, and so we have a lot of fun about how much of a mess it is.
It sounds like they redid the whole fucking engine from the ground up with this new game, and it looks really good. And there's a lot of freedom for like creative stuff. Just the graphic difference, I was like, that's how bad 20 was? No wonder 20 was panned. Because I knew 20 was universally panned. I didn't buy it. And I don't normally play the wrestling games. They've really been too complicated since in my opinion, the Nintendo 64 version, which I think is the greatest one of all time. I don't know, those WWE.
There's a few. I got those the N64 ones.
Really good.
But that's why they didn't have 2K21 because they were starting from the ground up. So they came out with that like super arcade one.
Yeah,
they just started from the ground up. My neighbor is really into video games, like really, really. And he was telling me that the reason why they came out with Battlegrounds was so that they could literally start from the ground up. And they were already working on 2K22 back in before they released Battleground.
Yeah, 100%. That's why they did Battleground, and it seemed a little like it was simplistic because they were making a game while still making a different game. Fuck, I lost what I was about to say. The reason that Mike is saying we need to play 2K20 is because we both have it, and it's a lot of fun when you play it knowing full well it's going to be doing all sorts of weird random shit, like you might fall inside of the ring or the referee breaks his arm out of nowhere. Like, it's funny. I did a play along with it for the story mode for the Four Horsewomen, and it was really fun, but all of a sudden there was times where like I'm just dragged out of the ring by a ghost and thrown into the audience, and I have to get back into the ring somehow, and it was weird, but it was funny, and I had a good time with it. But I understand why they had to fucking rehaul the whole thing.
I mean, that's just what happens. Like, the PlayStation 4 is over a decade old, and like I believe 3/4 of the fucking gaming community are still playing on that.
Yeah.
Because you can't, like, I got a PS5. I had to buy it from some shady fucker in Pennsylvania, you know?
Yeah, it's still difficult to get, which is a little weird. Yeah, but we'll wrap it up here on this one comment that Mike has got about 2K14 came with a bunch of stuff with The Undertaker, 2K15 came with Hogan stuff. Yeah, and I think 16 came with Shinsuke, like NXT stuff, like a Finn Balor figure and Shinsuke autograph. But that's what I mean, Beard, is like before you get the deluxe edition and you were literally getting an Undertaker autograph, a Hulk Hogan autograph, John Cena autograph, Shinsuke Nakamura autograph, and now for the same price to be all like, yeah, you're not getting even a single cool thing with it. That's why I was bummed. Not that I'm saying that the expectation is that all video games need to have but they've built the history on it.
Well, and I didn't get to ask you the question I wanted to ask you on why you don't buy digital, because I mean, I can download every title that I bought on PS3 on my PS5. So like, it's like I just go to the store or it's in my library. I mean, if I don't have room for it on my game, I take it off, right? Because, you know, they don't make the 200 terabyte hard drive yet. But it's like, I was just curious, like, as long as you own that email that's connected to the account or whatever, you can have all those things at your fingertips anytime. I believe we are so, like, PlayStation already, I can game on my like iPad with my PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4. You can do the same thing. You can play on your computer, like, as long as you're on the same network or whatever. You could do other, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, you know, I'm to the thing now where it shouldn't matter what system you're using. We should all be able to play each other. Now, granted, graphically and stuff like that, all that stuff's going to factor, but
yeah,
you know, it is what it is.
So to put a button on it, the reason I do is just because I am a collectible-minded person, and a lot of times you can get something collectible with the physical media. And secondly, because having the physical media means I do have the game, and not that it happens often. And it's happened very, very rarely. But there is a specific game that came out once that people purchased and downloaded onto their system, and it was attached to their email. And then something happened and the game was pulled. And only systems that had that email logged in with it already pre-downloaded had that game. So there were people who were selling PlayStations because the game was downloaded onto the system. And even though your email had purchased it, you could never re-download it. It is a really weird one-off. It is a thing that doesn't happen almost ever, but it has historically happened in the past, and that's why for me.
We know you're talking about Grand Theft Auto 4, and you want to be able to get your.
It's not
coffee.
that one. I didn't know that Grand Theft Auto. I thought it was only there was one I know of that was it was a game that starred Norman Reedus. Is all I know, and they came out with like a.
Oh, I know that game. Yeah, I know the game.
Yep. Yeah. And then
but that game's still available. Like if you had bought it,
it was a game before the big one. He did this big one that was a cool one, but he did a little one a while back, and the game got stopped in production and they pulled it. You can't get it. It was nuts. It was just a weird thing, and it doesn't ever happen. But I'm a paranoid person and I like collectibles anyways.
One small note though, a lot of times when you order the digital, they just send you a code, just send away for the collectible thing.
Oh, that's
so you
cool.
can still get the swag. You just don't have to deal with going to the fucking store and standing in line with all the other guys, right?
That's
with
true.
all the other diehard fans.
All the smelly people.
Well, you know.
I got a quick question for you guys both because you're into sports, and we were talking football a minute ago, and Kev's wearing a Gronk shirt. Tom Brady said he's not going to fight anymore. He's done fighting football. Now, last time Tom Brady retired, didn't Gronk also retire? And this time, is that not the case?
Tom Brady never retired. He's never retired before. Tom Brady's never done the Brett Favre where he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. No. Tom Brady has retired one time, and that is now. Now, there are some people that think he will come back. I personally think the NFL, I was glad. I thought he should have moved on after last year's Super Bowl, in my personal opinion. But that being said, he's never retired before this year. You're getting him confused with somebody else. Gronkowski did retire and came out of retirement to play with Brady, but the Patriots still had to trade him because they had his rights. So I don't know. It sounds like if Gronk is not very old, he's like 30. He's not old. So I just think he plays so hard and he's had so many injury problems that also something about Gronk you may not know, he's never spent a dime of his player salary. The only thing he ever spends is his endorsement money. Oh. So I would be really shocked. I would not be shocked at all if he comes back and plays.
If Gronk comes back and plays?
Yeah. He said he would come back and play with the Bengals.
Okay.
Because Joe Burrow's the man.
Before they made the Super Bowl.
I want to ask this one to Kev direct, just because I feel like we need to give Kev a little more time. Kev, can you explain to me? Because so Gronk left the Patriots while Tom Brady was still playing with the Patriots, correct?
Yeah, he retired.
No? He retired, and then Tom Brady stayed.
Mm-hmm.
And then once Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay, that's when Gronk said, "I'll come back and play with him."
Yes.
Yes.
Huh? Why was it?
And they say, well, Gronk and Brady have made reference to Bill Belichick, the head coach of the Patriots, his like training and like, you know, they were just saying it was too intense.
Oh.
You know, it was too hard, and they were kind of just over it. They were just like, hey, you know, we did our thing, we won, you know, I'm done. And then when Brady went to Tampa, that's when I think Gronk was like, whoa, I can go play for another team and, you know, still have fun playing football. So I think that, you know, that's why he came back. I don't know for sure.
Okay, I got you. And so now the thought process is Gronk gonna stay or go, right?
He said he would.
Yeah.
He said he would not come back to the Bucks because Brady is retired. But if he comes back, he'll play for the Bengals, which, if you're not aware, the Bengals owner is notoriously cheap, even though they have $60 million in cap space. If the Bengals were smart, they'd bring Gronk because he could block better than half the fucking O-line they have. Mike asks, how does the Beard have a PS5 but can't get a date to the school dance?
No, but he can't get a date. Micah can't.
Because there's a restraining order that he can't get within 200 yards of high school.
No, Micah or me, because I wouldn't go near a high school unless it was my own.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Micah says, but I can't get a date to the school dance. The answer is the same for both. The beard.
Yes.
The beard is why you don't get a date, and a beard is why he's got a PS5. Like, you just need a beard, dude.
Hey, Micah, I'm gonna tell you, just go ask a girl. Just go ask a girl. Don't make a girl ask you, because that will never happen for you. Just go find the hottest girl that you know her way out of your thing and ask her. And if she says no, guess what you've gained? Nothing. But guess what you've lost? Nothing. Just go ask.
There you go. Dr. Love.
An old man in a bar once told me, you can't hit a home run without swinging.
Goddamn right.
Or you can't. No, wait. Rather, he said you can't hit that without swinging. Because the bartender was pretty cute. And he leaned over to me and he's like, you can't hit that if you don't swing. I'm like, all right.
He was not wrong.
He's not, yeah.
No.
So,
Micah, just try. Kev is married. Ref Marsh is practically married.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a live-in. And we all know that he's beaten. So I don't want to get off the track. I'm sorry.
I'm afraid
Marsh.
to leave.
No, but I've been married 16 years, bro. I outkicked my fucking coverage too, bro. Because I told the girl I was into her. So
let me ask this. I want to ask this one to Kev. Kev,
What's up?
so do you think this is just like a two-part quick one. Do you think that Gronk would ever play with a quarterback that's not Tom Brady actually? And B, if he doesn't go back to playing football, do you think he's coming back to WWE right away?
Yes and yes. Like,
Okay.
I think, because I think technically he's a free agent. So he can literally just go sign with any team.
Yes.
So it depends on, you know, if he wants to just make money or if he does want to go to Cincinnati or, you know, there's a lot of factors. Gronk is one of the few cases where, he's already walked away once. So if the right deal's not on the table, he's not going to take it.
Yeah.
Whereas some of these other players, it's like, hey, you know, I need to support my family. I need this. I need that. You know, they'll hold out and then sign a weak deal.
Yeah.
And
Gotcha.
I'm not sure, truthfully, if he'll come back to WWE.
Really?
Because I know the whole reason, not the whole reason, but one of the bigger reasons why he went to WWE was because of Mojo.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You know, it's well known they're good friends, and Mojo's not there.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I would like to see him in WWE, but I
So
don't know.
without Mojo, who is he? I got you.
Mhm.
On what? Oh, the producer just keeps yelling, "Congratulations, Mojo!" And I'm like, "What did he do? He got engaged." So yeah, I guess if that's what you want, then congratulations. I hope the marriage lasts as long as it can. What? I'm not getting invited.
That's the most heartfelt thing I've ever heard Marsh say.
Yeah. See, Kev gets it. Beer, do you agree with Kev? Do you think he will play with a different quarterback, and do you think he might not?
Oh,
go to
he'll
wrestling?
definitely play with another quarterback. If he wants to play NFL again, and I don't think he'll go back to the WWE. I don't think he needs the money, guys. I think he was in. I hope he does because he's such a good personality, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I agree. I think a lot of that had to do with Mojo.
I think a lot of it had to do with Mojo, and I think he was having fun.
Yes. He didn't do it because he needed to. He did it because he wanted to have fun.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it might have been the break from the Patriots. Like I said, Bill Belichick and his, tyranny up there. Yeah. Like, he's like, hey, this is different. I can do whatever I want. I can jump off this scaffolding.
Well, yeah. Bill Belichick's been a part of 8 Super Bowls. So
I'm not saying his formula is wrong. I'm just saying what the players have said.
And I'm just saying that Bill Belichick has been a part of 0 WrestleManias, and Gronk has been a part of 1. So already Gronk's better to me.
That's true. I mean, in your world, that makes a lot of sense.
I like that.
And Gronk's a WWE champion.
Yeah, former WWE champion. All right, so let's keep moving. Let's see, a couple other things news-wise. I thought this was cool, and I saw a lot of people trying to shit on it a little bit. But as we're building up to Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia, there's billboards in Saudi Arabia that had the women on it. And that's the first time that women have been used to advertise in Saudi Arabia, which is pretty cool.
I know. In 200 or 300 years, they'll actually let the women over there, come out in public and show their faces and shit. So,
who the fuck's shitting on it?
Yeah, people are shitting on it.
Besides maybe old time Saudi men.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the thing is, this is yes, there's a lot of political stuff that's involved in there. Yes, it's baby steps, like the smallest of baby steps, but it is not nothing. These aren't not progressions in some way and aspect, because you are providing, if nothing else, I don't know how it plays out, but if nothing else, you are giving a visual representation of something that people can look at and feel hopeful from. I mean, Bianca Belair even said in an interview, one of the things that she was most affected by is the little boys in the audience who are looking at the strong women and thinking like, oh yeah, women can be strong and do that. That the future generations are being influenced now, more so than current political climate. Future generations of mentalities are potentially being influenced, which is a net positive. And it's small things, man. But this show's going to have 12 women on it, and they're using the women to advertise. And I just think that's kind of cool.
And a lot of,
or we'll go to Kevin then. Beard.
I was going to say a lot of things that we take for granted in the Western world, are huge over there, like a woman on a billboard. So, yes, that is small to us because it's like, hey, we look at our billboards and there's half naked women and, 1-900 I'm lonely, call me.
The good stuff.
And yeah, we know what's right. I'm just kidding. But, I think, I mean, it's a step in the right direction for sure. And for anyone, the thing I'm trying to grasp is anyone, on Twitter or, here in the United States or any bigger country, why they would be shitting on that. I just don't get
it. They're diminishing it that it doesn't have a massive political impact now. And all I'm saying is it has a small mental impact on the future generations, which is not nothing. Beard, what are you going to say?
Micah says, Beard thinking I'm an actual kid is funny. Well, you did ask about the school dance, bro. You brought that shit in, not me. So you don't fucking post your driver's license in the fucking chat. So you could be fucking 5. I don't know.
That's a good point. And the way he talks would lead you to believe so. So
you got a mouth of a sailor.
Yeah. But yeah, it was cool. A lot of the women were, something else that people were shitting on, and I understand why they would shit on this, is that all of the women in WWE were retweeting the post about it with the exact same verbiage of, I forget what it was, but this is progress or something, each one of them, the exact same spelling and everything. So it was suspect as fuck, but still.
Copy and paste, baby.
Honestly, I wish they would just say, stay away from it. And I think all the WWE hardcore fans, I'm not saying stay away from Riyadh. Go over there and make your fucking money, Vince. I don't care. What I'm saying is, I wish, I wish the superstars wouldn't even comment on it. Because quite frankly, the only thing that's going to change is the Western stuff being over there. The little girls that see that stuff in the thing and be like, hey, they can do that over there. Like, you know, that's the kind of freedom they have. Hopefully we'll get to that point, but I don't know. And like, as far as I'm concerned, we don't need to defend the WWE for Riyadh. I think that the hardcore fans feel like the crown jewels and this Elimination Chamber are one-offs. And they really don't mean anything to the grand scheme of everything else. Because I read that Cena might be at fucking WrestleMania. And I'm like, dude, we haven't even seen Cena. How's he going to be at WrestleMania? But I'm like, oh, okay, they're just going to cram him in. Like, okay, because it's Cena. And I get it. I would do it if I was, if I was them. Yeah, but I just feel like we don't need to worry about.
No, and I don't think that the talent should be required to. They should post if they want, and they shouldn't all be forced to post a specific
It shouldn't be
thing.
mandatory.
Yeah, if you want to, you should. If you don't, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, like I said, if they copy and paste that shit, that's weak.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The thing in and of itself was just kind of a notable and neat thing. Speaking of WrestleMania, as we get into it, there are rumors that Stone Cold is going to be at WrestleMania, and the rumor is he may be having a match with Kevin Owens. And I love the amount of people who are shitting on Stone Cold like they don't want to see Stone Cold Steve Austin do anything.
Well,
it's
can he
hysterical.
wrestle though?
What?
Can he wrestle? Because I believe does he want to do it? I mean, he does. Look, I watched the podcast. I know you guys probably do too. He looks good for a guy his age, I believe. But I think being trained for a ring and doing an event, I don't know, man. We've seen a 50-year-old Lita come back and look pretty damn good to me. So I would love to see Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens. I think it's kind of funny because Kevin Owens is like a Stone Cold acolyte. But I don't know. What do you guys feel like? I would fucking love to see it. I mean, I'm not gonna say no to Stone Cold.
All right, Kev.
With Stone Cold, if I remember correctly, he never had like a true retirement match, right?
Correct. His last match was against The Rock. He lost to The Rock. He knew it was his last match. No one else did. He left the arena, and I guess it was he called in after that and said, "Guys, I think I'm done." And so they never did a full-on story retirement or a farewell or a thing. He did it the old territory way. He did it the old out on your back, looking at the lights, putting over the next big guy.
I think.
Yeah, I mean.
Go ahead, Kev. I'm sorry.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him like Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Like, I
agree.
I just don't know where you get storyline wise. As stupid as it sounds, because I know you throw Stone Cold in a match and say, "Hey, he's back," cool. But I mean, like I said, I'm not against Stone Cold being there.
So did you see, because I know you saw the Hulu version of Raw, did you see Kevin Owens cut the backstage promo?
No.
So last week, Adam Pearce and Sonya told Kevin that he may not be going to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I heard that. I saw that part.
Yeah, and he said that Texas is his place. Everyone loves him in Texas. It might as well be Texas, Dallas Kevin or some shit. But he said in the new one, he said, "You know what? I was lying. Texas is hillbillies. They're the worst. Fuck those guys." He goes, because WWE put out a poll and if they thought I was lying or not. And he goes, "You know what Dallas said? They think I'm lying." He's like, "But you know what?" And so he was just talking mad shit on Texas. So, and then he was talking about the Texas draw being a horrible hillbilly sound. So like, it doesn't take much to have Stone Cold come out and saying, "I'm not going to have you besmirch the good goddamn name of Dallas, Texas."
Even though I live in Nevada now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Micah says there will be more women's matches on the Saudi show than on AEW television. So there's something. And I agree with Micah. That is true.
That's true.
It's because AEW's roster weak.
No, it's their booker is weak. They have a ton of women signed. They could put women on there. They're just not.
Yeah, that dentist chick seems awesome to me. I don't know. I'd be cool. I like her. I'd like to see her, dude. No, I'm just saying, like, I don't know her name. I'm sorry, but I read a little story about her, and I was like, oh, she would be
Britt Baker.
Yeah, Brett Baker.
Yeah. No, I liked it.
I would like to see her in the WWE. That would be cool, right?
I think if she ever wants to get better, she's gonna have
No.
to. But
No. I never want to see her in WWE. Because if she comes back to WWE, that means Adam Cole's probably coming back to WWE.
ooh, it's a good call.
So, no.
It's a good call. Cursed.
No.
So I think the other thing is this is we've seen Sting come back and wrestle slowly, sort of. We've seen a lot of people do it, and the reason I was going to tell you, Beard, why I think Stone Cold could come back, it's going to sound a little weird, but it's because of his massive neck injury he had when he was in his prime. He had to change his entire wrestling style to be a lot less technical and a lot less flashy and become a real mat ground and pound striking brawler style that I think would be much easier for an older Austin to pull off than if he was still doing ringmaster technical catch wrestling. So I think he could do nothing like a 30-minute thing or a 45-minute Iron Man match. He could do an 8-minute match with someone like a Kevin Owens with a lot of story and yelling at each other and pushing and shoving and punches, and it'd be great. A lot of brouhaha, you know what I mean? I got no problem with it.
What if?
Go ahead.
What if this is all teasing to something else?
Okay.
Where Kevin Owens still doesn't have a match at WrestleMania, and Goldberg beats Roman Reigns, and then we hear the glass shatter.
So you get Goldberg and
Then-
Stone Cold?
Stone Cold, finally, yeah.
That'd be good. That'd be good. And then you end the show with Stone Cold as the champion, and everyone's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. Yeah, like WrestleMania 10 when Hogan or Yokozuna beat Brett, and then Hogan came out for no fucking reason.
Yeah,
became
took the title.
champion. That's still one of my favorite WrestleManias, but yeah, it was just weird.
Yeah, you can do some weird shit, dude. I'm all into it. And they do have also rumors that there is another Austin-level surprise that they're going to be unveiling for WrestleMania as well. I've heard some people think it's The Undertaker. Sounds like Beard read somewhere they thought it was John Cena. I think if you're looking for an Austin-level surprise, the only name that's close to Austin-level in the world of entertainment, Brandy Rhodes.
Booker T.
It's got to be Brandy Rhodes they're bringing in, right?
The other Texan, Booker T.
He's not Austin-level.
I Booker T would be awesome. I believe Undertaker will be. Look, what was it? We were talking about the prices of WrestleMania, $1,300 or something for a fucking seat somewhere. They better have surprises. That's all I'm fucking saying. Because if I was a fan that went down there and paid that kind of money, I want to see some shit.
Yeah.
Right? I want to see some shit. And I would love to see Undertaker, and I would love to see Stone Cold. And I don't want to see Stone Cold just come out and fucking stun Kevin Owens and drink a bunch of beer. Actually, I would love to see just that.
Actually be good.
I would just go nuts. I would only care about that. But what I'm saying is, I think that we have to anticipate there's going to be something. Now, let me go back and say what I thought with the Cena thing. I read an article like it was a formality that Cena was going to be there. I was like, what? I go, how the fuck is Cena going to be there? They have no look. Again, we've talked about this, and the best part of WWE, the Attitude Era, the story always took precedence. The matches like the Undertaker, the cage matches, those happen because of the fucking men or women in the cage, squared circle, whatever you want to say. But the story has to be there, right? And I think they cannot. I mean, that's my biggest concern with the WWE right now is the story is not. I'm kind of getting bored. You know, I will tell you the shit I'm liking the most. You guys, I know the two you don't like. That fucking Miz shit is awesome, and I love that Alpha Academy stuff. It's awesome. Like the Miz is such a good heel. It's so good. And like Corey Graves plays off of it so well, and Saxton, and like the whole thing. I'm for it. I'm for it. I mean, it's good. And
if there's one person I'm not concerned about getting me invested in a match, it's Cena. He's so good on the mic. He's such a good storyteller.
That's true.
I think in one promo he could cut someone up enough that you just go, okay, yeah, I'm ready for that match. I think that he's also, because of his work schedule being what it was, he has come and gone a few times where he was here for 1 or 2 months, and in that time became very important, and you got very invested in him pretty quick. I think there's still time if he shows up and cuts a couple promos that we'll be fine on that. Kev, do you agree with me? Do you think the biggest Mania surprise possible will be Brady Rhodes coming out?
Yeah, because no one would be interested in seeing it.
Yeah. It'd be sort of a surprise.
Brandy Rhodes, Cody Rhodes.
Cody's wife.
Cody's wife is a bigger star in my mind.
Oh. Well,
Dude,
I
can
think
you
we're going to see
imagine
both of them, I think. If they left AEW, and if Ariel Helwani is a heck of a reporter, man, and I happen to believe that he probably is speaking truths here, I could see him signing with WWE. I don't know. I didn't see Cody Rhodes, and I haven't watched AEW. I mean, I saw Dustin Rhodes and Goldust, which I believe is without Dustin Rhodes was also Goldust. Goldust is Dustin Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes' son is Goldust, correct?
Yeah.
Cody
so
and Dustin are both. Yeah. I knew they both were, but Cody is much younger, right?
He wouldn't have seen Stardust.
No.
He might have seen a figure and not know what the fuck it was, but he wouldn't have. He probably wouldn't have remembered it. But yeah, so Cody and Brandi left AEW. Go ahead, Kev.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, this is supposed to be the most stupendous WrestleMania of all time.
What's more stupendous?
Hey, Pat is the fucking GOAT. He got the dictionary out. It's a real goddamn word. Fucking A. Let's get shirts that say stupendous.
Stupendous podcast?
Yeah. Most stupendous podcast. Yeah, I'll make a shirt that says that.
Mm-hmm.
Put it up.
But
go ahead.
I mean, see, this is the thing about WrestleMania, and just us fans is, we could speculate everything till, we're blue in the face, and a lot of these rumors, if they come true, great. But the thing that pisses me off is when they don't come true and people, there's a last minute change. Ugh.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could see Cody going over there. Like, how big of a thing would it be for Triple H to say something, whether he's coming to the ring or not? Once again, it's just fan speculation. But, Triple H be saying something and all of a sudden Cody Rhodes is in his face.
So let me play it out to you this way. What if, because we're past the WrestleMania thing, really. I'm just talking about Cody and Brandi being out of AEW. But if you did want to try and build them to WrestleMania, what if you had Triple H come out and address the fans and being like, look, you haven't heard from me in a while. Clearly there's a lot of changes happening in NXT. I'm not as involved as I once was. I've taken a step back. You've all heard about my health issues. I wanted to take this time to just say goodbye to my people, to you people, to the universe, because at this point in my career, I think I need to step back and be part of the family. He goes, there's nothing left for me to do. I've proved myself. There's not a single score to settle in the entire wrestling world. And then boom, Cody music hits and Cody comes out and goes, no scores to settle, huh? Boom. You know what I mean?
No.
Well, I don't think we're gonna see Triple H back in the ring, and I'll be surprised if we see him back on WWE TV. Just based on the changes, but nothing against him. Like, it's nothing against him. No fucking worries there. I just don't think we're gonna see hit Triple H in the WWE anytime soon.
That's not how fantasy booking works. I don't understand.
I know. I get it. I know. And honestly, I don't think we need him. Do you guys really? Are you clamoring for Triple H? Like, I'm not clamoring.
Not exactly. I love hearing him talk when he wants to talk. But I would say that when it comes to Cody, there's not a single thing I can think of Cody doing in WWE that excites me, except for some sort of thing with Triple H, strictly because the entire time Cody's been in Triple H or been in AEW, he's been cutting promos and doing things anti-Triple H. He's been building a Triple H story. Yeah, destroyed his throne. He walked out there with a golden shovel, just like Triple H. He pulled out the hammer at one point and threw it aside. So I'm saying he's been building a Triple H story, which makes me invested in a Triple H match. But Kev, go ahead. What were you going to say? Sorry.
But I was going to say, it doesn't even have to be against Triple H.
True.
Like, you could be against Triple H's, I'm just trying to think of an NXT guy that, Triple H heavily influenced. I was thinking Kevin Owens, but I thought he was too old for that. Like, too far past that.
Maybe. Kevin, Seth. Those are both historically... Randy Orton was also a Triple H guy. Like, you have some people, like you said, who could stand in his place.
I mean, Seth was, like, Triple H's dude. Like, he handed him he handed Kevin Owens the Universal. But anyways...
Yeah,
I think Seth Rollins and Cody. I think that'd be fucking phenomenal.
That could be good. Kevin Owens and Cody, I think, could be good. And I think Randy Orton and Cody could be pretty good too. Because even then, you have Randy Orton and Cody were in a tag for a while, so you could even have that there.
Mm-hmm.
Where Triple H is like, "Hey, I'm not in any condition to wrestle," and Cody's like, "I'm not having it this way," and Randy Orton comes in and steps in. You're not going to do it this way,
Mm-hmm. Or Shane O'Mac. That's my brother-in-law, bitch.
Oh, now that was interesting. Marsh and I talked about this last podcast, Kev. I was a little curious. What do you think about? Now, there's a lot of rumors that he had been shit-canned from WWE, and I had this question, and I want to ask you this since you brought up Shane O'Mac. Like, was there anybody that really wanted to see him in the Rumble? Like, I'm not nothing against him. Like, dude, I love him. I don't have anything against him. But it was like, this feels a little forced.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. Like, hey, it feels a little forced. And, to me, like, I love seeing him in the Rumble because I don't think he was in any other Rumble before.
Yes.
I could be wrong.
He's never been in a Rumble ever?
I don't think so, but it's possible. But also at the same time, I just like seeing him. I liked it when he came out. I thought it was great.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
but see, what I'm saying is, it goes to the conspiracy theories that you love, Beard, about WWE being for sale and Shane O'Mac being like, hey, I was never in a Rumble. Let me in a Rumble.
I'm going to do this, and you're not going to stop.
Yeah.
It seemed like the shit that was coming out, it was like, what the fuck is going on?
But see, I wanted Shane O'Mac to win it. When I heard his music, I was like, yes, that's who I want to win. It would have been so great.
Yeah. Really?
I was really happy to see him, and I couldn't wait to see whatever build they get to him at Mania. I didn't want him to win it necessarily, but I was happy to see him.
It was fucking weird, man.
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was great. In the Twitch chat, we got...
Oh, I have it. It came up. If you want me to tell you.
Go
it
ahead.
Says, hi, as a really cool. Hi, I just started watching. Dondo makes a return. Who's Dondo? You have to tell me who that is. That's
Dondo, I believe, was our SummerSlam predictor, I think about 2.5 years ago, and made all the right guesses when the rest of us who knew too much versus Dondo. He was a one-time appearance because he outshined us all, is what it was, to be honest.
He kicked ass.
Too much ass.
I'll just tell you, WrestleMania is the Super Bowl of wrestling, right? And we just got...
It's a showcase of the Immortals.
Right. So I think Undertaker, I think Stone Cold, and I think that's probably enough. But if we get Triple H and Shane O'Mac, and Vince reads the dirt sheets, right? So I wonder if he wants to stick it to him at times and just do the exact opposite of what they're saying. this is why I think the internet wrestling community needs to get away from itself. Yes. Because I'll watch YouTube videos that make it sound like the WWE is going to fall the fuck apart in like a week. It's so ridiculous to me. I'm like, dude, I get you like AEW, okay? But just like calm down. Like it's a Fortune 500 company.
You know what the IWC reminds me of? Is all those movies like you would see like in Independence Day where it's like, this is the end. It's over. The world's ending right now. And like the mass paranoia that they like kind of portray or push.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's insane. Yeah. I think that I've been saying that the IWC to me feels an awful lot like you're the uncle drinking at Peter Piper Pizza, watching your nephew and his friends run around and bump heads. You're just kind of like, okay, idiots. Like, yeah, they're wild.
I mean, yeah.
And it's weird that the fandoms at points have this belief where it's all like, I'm such a fan of this one company that I'm predicting the destruction of other company. And you're like, can't both companies exist in their own realms? Because they're both doing separate things well.
Exactly.
That is the exact way people portray politics nowadays.
Grim
You're
Reaper's
either
in the
with
chat.
me or against me.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right, Kev.
That's true.
Let's stay away from that fucking hot button issue.
No, 100%. But I'm just saying, like, you're either my friend or my enemy, but you can't be on one side or the other.
You
or
can't
have
have
to
what
be on
they.
my side
Hey,
or that's it.
it's called bipartisanship or civil discord. You can't have those things. Yeah, we need that.
Yeah, you can't have a conversation.
And here's what I'm. You know, there's an old Guns N' Roses song called "Live and Let Die," which is actually a Beatles song, which is they probably didn't write either. But live and let die. How about live and let live? Let's let the AEW fans live and let live. I got nothing against AEW, and I'm sure there's some cool people over there. Great people. I like Jericho. I've always been a very fan of Jericho. Walls, baby. But I'll just say this. Like, I don't want to shit on their product. You don't have to shit on mine. Don't watch it if you don't like it. I don't understand. Like, I'll tell you this. This is just a quick example, and I think the internet is frothed with this shit, and you just need to remove yourself from it. By the way, Grim Reaper said hi in the chat.
Cheers, Grim Reaper.
What up, Grim?
But I'll just say this. I'm a huge fan of the Book of Boba Fett. Everybody's like, oh, the fan serving is so ridiculous. I'm like, dude, I've been wanting. You got to watch Boba Fett ride a Rancor, motherfucker. You got to watch him and the Mandalorian flying around on jetpacks and kill shit. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I said, you know what? That's the shit I wanted to see in the prequels. I wanted to see fucking incredible stuff. I wanted to see great things. Wrestling is no different. That's all I want to see. I want to see great things. And I'm not going to, if I don't see it, I don't need to shit on it. I can just wait or hope for or get. Grim Reaper says WWE and AEW and any other promotion can exist without competition. I agree. Competition is fun, but not required. And I'll say this. I believe the competition is good for both companies. And Jericho just came out and said, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I believe that's why I love the rumors about him coming back to the WWE. And I'm like, man, he's always selling AEW. I don't think he's coming back to WWE anytime soon. And I know Marsh is very disappointed because he's a huge Jericho fan.
Yeah, right.
He's a Jericho-holic.
Anyway, Marsh, you said we had a lot to get to, so I don't want to.
Yeah, let's shoot back to
But anyways,
Kev
real quick. I was just going to say real quick on the Jericho thing is that, you know, Kevin Owens kind of tweeted towards him and there's like a little back and forth. And, you know, hey, if he comes back, if he's one of the big returns, like, because I heard he's under contract negotiations with the AEW as well.
Yeah.
I heard he wants to come back to WWE and finish his career, and I think he should. I think he's marquee enough that he should. Yeah. He's a great wrestler. He's one of the best on the microphone ever, in my opinion. You know?
My fear is that I believe his stint in AEW has tarnished a lot of that because he's not
Marsh,
with people who
live and let live. Remember, Marsh, live and let live.
No. I gotta finish the sentence. It's not that I think the AEW product's bad. I think that he hasn't been able to have people on the same level as him that helps push him to a higher level. He's playing down a lot. and to the point where he just seems comfortable at a lesser thing. So I don't know that he's got like the fan fervor on all sides like he did when he went to AEW. Like everyone was behind him when he went to AEW because he was doing all that cool shit. I think him finishing his career in WWE would be smart and would be good because I think it would give him that opportunity to push himself again. I don't think he's been pushing himself enough. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Mm.
But
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I also think, to Grim Reaper's point, competition is not only fun but not required. I also think that competition doesn't have to end in destruction of one or the other. It's not Highlander. You know what I mean? Like,
there can be only one.
yeah, you can also have competition and both survive at the end. You know?
Unless you're talking
Yeah.
about Highlander 2,
Well-
and that piece of shit movie does not exist in my mind. It doesn't exist. Fucking piece of shit.
It's gone. But see, and that's, I always go back to, the Shawn Michaels giving Kevin Nash a shout out on Raw,
Yes, that's
and back and forth. And it was like, hey, that's, we need more of that,
Exactly.
and then, and with all these guys in the IWC shitting on WWE and, on the fact that it's WWE or bust, that's the only thing they care about. They just had Mickey James, the was it the glass door or whatever the fuck they call it?
Sure.
Invisible door.
It is.
Excuse me. And I thought they did that way better than Kenny Omega going to Impact and just basically shitting on Impact.
Yeah. No, 100%. There's different ways of doing it. But yeah, there's all those rumors about. I do think that one thing, and we're gonna really dive into it tomorrow night on episode 1 with Clump and Amanda Jane. But Cody Rhodes and Brandy leaving AEW, I do think is a massive move. Whether they come to WWE or not, they were, and I have openly shit on a lot of segments that involved Cody and Brandy. So this isn't some sort of like turncoat fucking rant. But it's impossible to deny that company didn't come together with Cody Rhodes as being a strong pillar and foundation for that. So much so that the company relies on the heritage of Dusty Rhodes because of Cody Rhodes. A lot of what they did to become a company involved and revolved around Cody and his family's legacy. So the idea that he's leaving the company is massive in and of itself, regardless of whatever he does next.
I agree with you, Marsh. 100%. I thought that was really glaring. He was one of the guys, right?
Yep.
For AEW, like the founding father, basically, the Ben Franklin. Maybe not the George Washington because you got the cons and stuff, but I'm fucking with you, Marsh. I agree. I think it's a glaring statement about where AEW is at in comparison to where their fans think they're at. And if you're a diehard fan of something and you don't look outside the window to see extemporaneous factors, again, AEW's never once beat WWE in ratings. This isn't WCW. This isn't the cable. This isn't where everybody consumes everything via cable. So I just feel like let's wait and see. I hope AEW's around forever, but I just don't know that we need to spend, it's glaring to me that one of the founding guys is gone.
It's a bit jarring. If nothing else. Even if you're a major fan, you should be able to take a look at that and say, wow. Like, because I've even heard people say that, like, why would he ever even leave the company? Even if he stopped wrestling, he would just go to being backstage because being an EVP, he had all these employee benefits. And one of the big issues that they had with WWE is he doesn't give wrestlers employee benefits. So one of the big reasons they made all them EVPs is to give people employee benefits. So for him to leave all that anyways, it's just, there's a lot to consider. And we're going to like really dive into it tomorrow. But yeah, it's crazy time, man. It is a crazy time to be a wrestling fan when all of a sudden you're like, hey, could Cody Rhodes show up on NXT tomorrow? Yup.
See, and I think this is where competition is great because this is a great time to be wrestling.
Yes. 100%.
This is the fun shit.
Exactly. Well, and look, I mean, the guy, look, I told you guys I was sad I didn't get to see Keith Lee. I know you guys watch NXT. I don't even watch NXT, but I'm happy that he's getting a chance at AEW, and I think it's awesome. It's another platform for guys to get their stuff out there. And look, let's say this: WWE doesn't have the time. they're not even doing a great job with what they have right now. And honestly, they don't even have the time for the size of roster they have right now. I want to applaud them for the whole 24/7 thing. I thought that shit was great because everybody's like, oh, it's stale. But then they did a little love thing, which, by the way, did anybody else forget Monday was Valentine's Day? That's how unimportant that fucking made up holiday is in my house. So I forgot it was Valentine's Day, but I was like, oh, that's why they did that as Valentine's Day. What a great thing to do. Anyway.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Marsh. Get us back on track.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's fun stuff. I do agree that Keith Lee going to AEW was cool. I also do think that there is a bit of a ridiculous narrative that we'll talk about tomorrow more than tonight, but they were talking about how in one match Keith Lee looks like a bigger superstar than he did in all of WWE. And it's just funny to me that people are going to pretend like Keith Lee wasn't the first double champ in NXT, that he didn't have the complete fan favor behind him, that he didn't beat Randy Orton, and that he wasn't in world title matches within the first couple weeks he was there. They're so fixated on not liking part of his gear and not liking the music when he first came out that they forget that the matches he was actually in were world title matches, that he immediately became important. And he was immediately in stories with Drew and Randy Orton when they were both passing the title back and forth. Like, he was a big deal. They just had other issues with him. You know what I mean?
And the Survivor Series with Roman, right?
Yep, and the Rumble with Brock.
Yeah.
Yeah. He never looked not important. He just had a funny gear one time and he had weird music for a couple weeks. If that's what you're fixated on to make someone a star, then fuck it, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, especially for a company that's so, and a fan base that's so fixated on the match in the ring and nothing else. They don't care about any story as long as the match in the ring is good. Well, Keith Lee was very important because of all the matches and the outcomes of the matches. But all they can talk about in WWE was the stuff outside of that. And you go, well, what do you want? Anyways.
You know what? If you want to look at great Keith Lee matches, look at his rivalry with what's his name? Dijakovic.
Oh yeah. And his matches with
Like,
Randy
that
Orton were
was amazing.
phenomenal. His match with Seth Rollins was great. Yeah.
Well, and let me just say this. People that are bitching about this are like people that are bitching about not being able to go out during the pandemic, and then they do go out and they remember how much they hate people. So it's like, I just, like, they're gonna fucking bitch. They're just gonna bitch about it because they're bitchers. I like to bitch because I'm a bitchy. I'm over it. Fucking ignore these fucks.
Let's see. Goldberg came back on Smackdown.
Big shock.
I mean, it was kind of a surprise.
He has one fight left on his deal, right? Or one match, and it's going to be crown. It's going to be the thing, right?
That's the rumor that he has one match. But I will say that WWE has a way of finessing stuff just to make you believe something. They could easily have him on a one match left on his contract deal, and right before he goes out, have him sign another match or two and go out there and win a title off of Roman and do another thing or two. I'm not saying they will, but I'm saying, like, sometimes they'll switch it up on you just because they know the belief is he's only got one match left.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
because they can.
I understand that, but we're talking about a Bill Goldberg who is also almost 60.
Yeah. And
I heard him in an interview with Pat. I think it was with Pat. I would be real surprised if he... Look, I'm not saying I don't want him to, but okay, is Bill Goldberg going to beat Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber?
Kev?
No.
Right.
But he might.
So, well, see, and this is the weird thing, not the weird thing, but this is the thing that gets me. Is Goldberg comes back to, he wants to face Roman, blah, blah, blah. What was it? Was it SummerSlam last year where Lashley choked out his kid? And then they never had like a squash of that, and now Lashley's the champion, and Goldberg says, "Hey, I'm going to SmackDown."
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Roman getting COVID, which threw everything out of whack, but yeah, I I don't think it's gonna happen. If it happens, great. I was trying to think of who was the oldest heavyweight champion ever. Was it Flair?
Might have been Hogan, because Hogan got it late in his career one time too.
Yeah. But I'm just wondering if Goldberg wants
That
like,
accolade.
that accolade. Yeah.
Maybe. I do think it was funny. His promo was cut like it was a telegram, and he had to pay for word. You know? You, me, match, champion.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
He's a caveman.
Yeah.
Goldberg's always gonna have his detractors because he wasn't like didn't come up in the scene and do all the fucking stuff. He's a football player, right?
Yeah.
And not really unlike Brock Lesnar in some ways, right? Kind of a phenom, except for Goldberg came along when Stone Cold. I mean, and you could argue that Stone Cold is 1A, 1B, greatest of all time. So,
Yeah.
you know, but Stone Cold, I think, is that way because he spent all that time on the fucking thing and was like, fuck, I'm sick of this shit. When am I going to get my fucking due? Fuck you, Vince. You're the fucking guy. So I'm a fan of Goldberg. I love that guy. I will always be a fan of him. I think he's a good dude. He's into the shit I like. Bald heads, you know, fucking muscle cars, you know, like he's a fucking cool guy. I'm a fan of Bill Goldberg, the human being, and I'm a fan of Goldberg, the wrestler. What was his record in WCW? 93-0 or something, like pretty cool.
It's 173, I think, by the time you won the title.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And the fact that okay, you didn't pay his dues then,
Well,
you
I
know?
mean, even then, you can go back and forth on it, but at the end of the day, he is a big name. The idea of Roman needing a match to come up, do you really want him to see him just steamroll over a Sami Zayn or something? Or is it more compelling to put in a Goldberg? You know what I mean?
Well, but hold on. This is exactly why I asked you and Kev that question. We don't really give a... The diehard fans know that Elimination Chamber and Crown Jewels are one fucking offs. And they really don't have anything to do with every fucking thing else. Right?
Well,
I'm sorry, they don't.
I think this is where shit changes.
Yeah.
Because the other Crown Jewels and what was the other one?
What was the other one?
Uh,
I mean, there's Greatest Rumble at Crown Jewel, and then there was the... Fuck, I don't remember.
Super Show.
Super Show, yeah.
Yeah.
Superstar
anyways,
Showdown.
So, yeah. But anyways, so they were these premium live events, as they're called now. It didn't mean anything. It was the premium house show. And exactly what a live event is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is the one that's actually going to change something.
Now, I would
so
argue...
far there's an actual... I was going to say, so far there's an actual card, and Mansoor's name hasn't been brought up yet.
True.
He will make an appearance, but he doesn't have a match, or there's not a Rumble, or like something like where he can just sneak his way in, basically. And I think this is one where they're going to say, hey, I think WWE took notice and said, you know, we haven't done anything on these. They've been pointless. They look like money grabs. And I think a title or two will change hands.
But they have changed hands in the past. The Universal titles changed hands, I think, twice at a Saudi event. I will say the notable thing is that it's not called Crown Jewel. It's not called Superstar Showdown. It is the Elimination Chamber, which has been a known pay-per-view for a long time. It's just not in St. Louis. It's not in Phoenix. It's in Saudi Arabia. But it's the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. And you're having two chamber matches, which are going to have potentially altering stuff. Matter of fact, at least one has to. The women's one has to have a WrestleMania impact because the winner is challenging the champion at Mania. So we already have one match that has to matter in a sense, you know? So I would say that they've gotten closer to making those matches matter. They historically have been not mattering, those premium live events specifically. But I agree that traditionally they haven't. They're starting to sway more that way. And the fact that this one's called Elimination Chamber in Saudi makes me think that this one might have more matches with more impact than just the one. I think that they're just treating it like another event.
We'll see.
Maybe not.
Yeah, but see, I think most of the Saudi, events, there were the rumors going around. Obviously, we weren't there, but them saying that, hey, we want Hogan. Hogan showed up. And they were like, allegedly, hey, we want Macho Man. Relax, he's passed.
Yeah.
So before it was always, there was always Undertaker was there always, and Kane, and Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and stuff like that. Now we do have Lita coming back.
Shawn Michaels is a guy too, though. Shawn Michaels is a Texas guy too that we didn't talk about. He could easily come back. Doesn't he still work for the company?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have Lita and Goldberg coming back. Once again, but we don't, like I said, there's not as much
nostalgia.
To me, there's not as much, emphasis on the nostalgia.
Yeah.
Which is
that
funny.
We used to have.
Which is funny that Kev brings that up, because I feel like right now, because everybody's been cooped up, everybody's really nostalgia driven. So I think the WWE's kind of missing the boat on the nostalgia thing.
Oh, that's
But
funny.
who knows? Let's wait and see.
But
Let's talk about this after WrestleMania.
True.
But that was the whole thing about Saudi, is that they wanted all the nostalgia guys. They wanted all the old guys in there, allegedly.
Yeah,
Supposedly
because they
asked
didn't
for
get to
Yoko
see him in
Mania.
real time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They didn't get to see him in real time. I totally understand that. They watch on the internet and they're like, oh my God, look at all this shit everybody got to experience. And we want to watch that. I fucking get
supposedly
it.
they
And
asked
that's-
for
and
Macho
that's-
Man, Yoko, and Ultimate Warrior, and so they brought in some other sumo guy for the event one time, but they didn't know what to do.
But I think there's progression there, just like the political side of it, is that they started introducing the network and so on and so forth. So it was a house show, and now I think they've progressed enough to actually being like, hey, here's an actual event, just like like you said, whether it's in St. Louis or Phoenix or New York, here's an actual pay-per-view. And I think it's going to be, to me, more like a pay-per-view than the other ones.
Yeah. I
Or
agree.
a premium live event.
Since you brought it up about the nostalgia thing, and we're talking a little bit about it, to circle back on a topic we talked about earlier, one thing I saw people shitting on when it came to Stone Cold was that they said, look at how embarrassing this
Shit
is.
a lot.
It's awesome.
Okay.
They said that look how embarrassing it is that WWE has to bring in a star from 19 years ago because they can't build new stars. And I'm like, first off, you're basing this off a rumor, not an actual booking. Secondly, they're not selling tickets because of a rumor about Stone Cold coming back. Tickets are already selling because people know what they're going to get. Thirdly, find me one WrestleMania card ever in the history of time that the backbone of that Mania wasn't highlighting their current stars and wrapping around nostalgia across the whole thing. 100% of WrestleManias, including the first one, were nostalgia driven with highlighting the new current talent. Because their WrestleManias are always about the every single fan encompassing. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous that narrative would even be out there. The first WrestleMania had Paul Orndorff long after he had been a big territory draw. It had Muhammad Ali years after he was able to ever fight. Like, they had a lot of nostalgia, celebrity, and current stars mixed together. That's what Mania is.
Mike Tyson is one of the biggest events ever still.
Yeah.
And that was Stone Cold slapping the shit out of Mike Tyson. It was fucking ballsy.
Yeah.
Did the stream go down? The stream may have went down.
It doesn't look like it on my side, at least. I'm still seeing us on Twitch and.
Okay, I am not getting us on YouTube anymore, but I don't know.
I'm seeing that we're still going when I look at my my little thing.
Well, I'll restart YouTube. How about that?
Bitrate settings are out of recommendation for Facebook, but fuck Facebook, so that's fine. But yeah. Just a little side note about people complaining about nostalgia and again, the whole thing that they can't make stars. I tweeted out because someone said they can't make stars, so therefore Stone Cold's there. And I was like, yeah, and the NFL can't make stars, that's why they brought in The Rock to open it. Like,
Well,
you're bringing big stars.
You're not wrong, because guess what? Dude, I've been watching NFL since I was like 5. And outside of guys like Lawrence Taylor, it's so hard to fucking know who people are unless he's a white wide receiver. You're like, I know that guy. I'm just saying, like, it's so hard to know because they wear helmets. It's like if you said, hey, pick Rey Mysterio out of a police lineup. If he's not wearing his mask, I don't know.
Whoa. Why would the Mexican be arrested?
I'm just saying.
That's racist. Fucked up. That's crazy.
I'm just kidding.
What I'm saying is, like, identify this human being. It doesn't have to be a police lineup. Yeah.
We're joking around.
I know.
That's why we're off YouTube now.
That's why we got off YouTube. Yeah.
I saw my moment and I went for it.
Yeah.
We're off YouTube. I got this.
No, we're on. We're good.
But unless a football player shows up on wrestling, I don't know who they are. So I agree with you. But they don't make real stars. The only place that makes real stars is the WWE. That's why The Rock opened up Smackdown. If you smack. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, Marsh,
Smackdown.
I'm so glad you brought that up, though. You got to remember,
Super Bowl
football. There's 55 guys on each team actively.
Yeah.
And they wear a fucking thing to protect their face and a helmet. So, yeah, Gronk, you're going to know. Tom Brady, you're going to know. Fucking Rodgers. The guys who are out there, like quarterbacks usually. But you're not going to know who the second. If you could be standing in line with the Chandler Jones, who's like a starting defensive end for the fucking Arizona
Chandler Jones.
But you may not know it's Chandler Jones. You just be like, oh, God, this black guy.
But in fairness, let's go down that way and let's say real quick, NFL can't make stars. At the end of the day, 101 million people still watch the Super Bowl because the brand and the show is bigger than the individual stars to begin with, which then goes to the point of WWE. Their brand in and of itself is already big enough that, yep, you might not know everybody, but you're going to know a few of them and you're going to want to see it. It just can't miss no matter how you cut it. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you this. The NFL does not want stars. They just want football players. No, I'm serious. They don't. It's a salary cap league. They don't want to pay Patrick Mahomes fucking $400 million. They don't. But they have no choice because the quarterback has become such an important position in sports, and it's such a watched event. And
he's the general.
Well, look, and here's the deal, guys. I mean, look, you have 16, 17 now games to pay attention to.
17?
You don't need to have a large attention span to be a huge football fan. And I believe that's why it's a huge sport. Football plays 17 regular season games. Basketball plays 82. Hockey plays 82.
Baseball plays 162.
Yeah, baseball plays fucking 1 million, you know?
But, so basically you say football's for dum-dums.
Yes, that's why I like it.
For the masses.
It's for the masses. Masses of what? No, plain.
Well, it's not my guys. It's not my favorite sport. It's not my favorite.
That's how I can say you're right.
I thought I thought your favorite sport was wrestling.
Yeah, outside of wrestling, it's NFL. Goes WWE, NFL. And if XFL comes back, it'll go XFL and then NFL.
Well, I don't know why you're an NFL fan, because the fucking Chargers suck dick. They're never going to win anything, ever. They're fucking terrible.
I also am a big fan of Sami Zayn. He doesn't win a lot.
That's true. Yeah. Sami Zayn is way better than the Chargers, by the way.
Marsh historically likes losers. It was just the one fluke Cubs win.
Yeah.
And it just happened.
Just happened.
After that, nothing else.
Yeah,
I believe too. I have to tell you, that's what's fucking killing baseball. They need to push the Mariners and the Padres, who've never won anything ever. Now the Padres have been at least been in a World Series. The Mariners have not. And if I sound jaded as a Dodgers fan, it's because the Mariners are on the radio up here in Alaska and they're fucking awful. But here's what I'll tell you. Oh, did we lose Kev? Okay, he might have just blacked the screen.
I got a phone call. I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway, I think that what's hurting baseball more than anything is because the Red Sox and the Cubs ended their long running curses, and we need a suit. Are you guys familiar with Susan Lucci? She was.
I think it's an interesting theory that you should explore more on your sports channel.
No, but what I'm saying is this is about
the
wrestling.
daytime Emmy, the Young and the Restless or whatever.
Well, no, but she was a soap opera actor, okay,
Yeah.
And or actress. She was famous for not winning a daytime Emmy forever. She'd been nominated like 17 times. They called her the Buffalo Bills. We need that in wrestling. We need someone who isn't winning.
They had that. Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah, Kurt Hawkins, who just literally never won. Well, I think he's talking about like a new Kofi Mania. A guy for like 11 years was always on people's radars. Like putting it on a guy like a Cesaro at this point, like some sort of a big upset that people have been behind. Like, Kofi Mania was what it was because of that very thing. The reason people are still behind Big E was because he felt just right behind that. It's funny because Sam Roberts speculates the opposite. That he thinks we need less stories of people taking 10, 11 years to get to the championship and a lot more stories of people coming in and raising hell and getting the title right away. I don't know what the right answer is, but I like both theories. I like both theories a lot. You want to hit the chat real quick?
Oh, yes. The NFL celebrates their legends consistently to the point that they employ the legends to be on their own network. That's from Grim Reaper, by the way, and the Twitch stream. WWE does the same thing like Broken Skull Sessions. I agree. Yeah. Here's what I'll say though. It's and that was from Grim Reaper. Grim Reaper, the problem is if it wasn't for NFL films where they're zoomed in on the dude's face, and they don't do that for every player. They don't do that. The legends, yes. The great players, yes. But if you're lucky enough to be highlighted by them, wrestling, you're going to be highlighted. You have the and if you're given the opportunity to be successful, you will in wrestling. Now, I'll say this though, like it's tough to get the opportunity. So
yeah,
Yep. Anyway, let's not.
Now I want to get to Raw in just a second. Before we do, I do want to ask you guys both what you thought. The main event, and this is another thing we've talked about before, that the newsletters out there wanted to count minute by minute the Queen's Crown tournament. This is how many minutes, how many seconds every match was, and I don't see them reporting how many minutes in every segment is with the women as they go. But on this SmackDown alone, you had an opening segment with Sonya Deville and Naomi. You had a main event that was almost 30 minutes long of Naomi and Charlotte. You had the dungeon match with Aaliyah and Natalya. They're getting time, and I think that you need to celebrate it when they do things right. If you're going to shit on them when they do things wrong, clapping is louder than booing in my mind, right? With that in mind, we had almost a 30-minute match of Naomi and Charlotte that I got really into at a certain point. Kev, what did you think of the main event? And then we'll go to Beard.
I thought the main event was great. Naomi did great. I hated the finish. It was just so quick.
Yeah.
But the only thing that concerns me is this reminds me a lot of Jinder Mahal before the India tour. I hope they're not just highlighting the women on both shows just because that's what they're doing in Saudi Arabia.
I think they're building to more at Mania, though. Maybe on the other side of Mania, it slows down again because they do seem really cyclical. And when they do things, we're going to spend this period of time highlighting the women as we get to this. We're going to spend this period of time highlighting Drew McIntyre as we get to this. I do feel like that they do have their focuses, and you kind of have to see how it goes. And that's why I mean clapping is louder than booing. If you want to say how horrible they did this job of this tournament that was more or less rushed to give Zelina a new gimmick, then also celebrate that here the women main evented this. The women were almost 2/3 of Raw. Like, we barely even got on Raw this week. You know what I mean? Like, and that's fine. But let's also celebrate when they're doing things right too. And I thought the main event was
100%.
dope.
I like I said, I liked it. I didn't like the finish. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Whenever Charlotte's out there, I don't pay so close attention. It seemed like she was just getting her ass kicked, and she did that weird, stupid flip thing, and she wins.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what the fuck was that? Like, do something. Make her tap out. But
Yeah.
Can I tell you my favorite part of the match now?
Yeah.
Is it my turn? Let me
get
tell you
it.
my favorite.
No. Hold on. No,
Fucking bald bastard,
wait.
that piece of shit, Adam Pearce, finally fucking did some good for the WWE. He fucking told that bitch Sonya Deville to check her goddamn emails. That was fucking great. I loved it.
That was
Look, you are done interfering with Naomi's matches. You are done. And then Naomi got to slap the shit out of her because she deserved it. And I'll tell you what, this is when I knew I needed that. I saw Liv Morgan like working out at the gym or something. She was like, oh, look who it is, Sonya Deville. And I'm like, punch her in the throat. I was so, and this is real life. Like like real life Sonya Deville. I'm like, I was ready for it because I was so sick and tired of Sonya's
antics,
felonious ways, or whatever you want to say. I didn't give it. And by the way, I knew Charlotte was going to win, so I didn't even bother watching the fucking match. I was like,
that's what I'm saying.
I watched the match.
Yeah.
I love Naomi, and I'm so happy. I wanted that shit to be over. You guys know my opinion on that whole thing. I thought it was terrible. I don't think it was a great story. I didn't understand it, but they were doing something with a great wrestler to keep her. And Marsh will always, train me and say, this is why they did this. So, she is relevant. And it's like, oh yeah, duh. But that was my favorite part. I loved it. Adam Pearce did a good job. Good job, Adam Pearce. I fucking hate you. I hope you die. But I loved it.
And you wonder why he banned you on Twitter.
Yeah,
I said nothing.
Preeminent.
Yeah.
I would never say a bad word about the guy. And now
I don't like this guy's tone.
Bald-headed fat fuck, which is me, by the way. I would get it, but I didn't say anything inflammatory, so that's what bothered me. But anyway, we've beat that horse.
What I liked about this match, because at first I wasn't all that invested, because I was like, Naomi's going to lose to Charlotte. But then she comes out, and there's still half an hour left in the show, and I was like, wait, are we going to get like a legit competitive match between Naomi and Charlotte? Because like it or not, they book Charlotte the way they book her. So even when I think Charlotte's being sloppy, she's still booked as this massive dominant force who nobody can compete with consistently. So the idea of putting her in a spot where... putting Naomi in a spot where she's going to be super competitive with Charlotte was interesting to me. And by the end of the match, I was super into it because of all the stuff Naomi was doing. The crowd was on fire for Naomi. I think what this match did, regardless of what anyone thinks of Charlotte one way or the other, what it did do was highlight Naomi and how incredible she was, how good she still is, and how much she deserves that main event spot, which I think lit a fire into the crowd for Naomi even more. I think that's what I got out of this main event, which is why I enjoyed it so much, was like the crowd is so behind her. Every close finish, they're completely behind. When Charlotte wins, they booed. Naomi showed out, man. She looked incredible.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Charlotte didn't look like she should, once again.
Yeah. I thought Charlotte had a number of missteps, but I thought at the end of the day, my focus was Naomi anyway, so I was kind of like, that's what it is.
No, 100%, but that's the thing that keeps irritating me is that they keep highlighting,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
the underperformer.
Yeah, but you can't do anything about it, so you kind of have to just judge for what's Naomi showing and what is the crowd reacting to. And this was a good moment for Naomi, which is what I really enjoyed out of it. But yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with any of that. Let's talk Raw. Let's talk the Becky Lynch Lita stuff. What'd you guys think of that segment? Did they have that on Hulu, Kev?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll go to you after I go to Beard. Let's see what Beard thought.
Well, we talked about this already. It shows that Becky is, a huge fan of her. And I just felt like it's a dream match for Becky. And I'd actually really want to know what Bishop says on this one. Like that, because she's such a big Bishop. No, but who's a bigger Becky Lynch fan than Bishop, right? Yeah. So, right. I mean, who's not for this? This is great.
I guess maybe I should ask a more direct question. What'd you think of Becky coming out being like mopey? Because my first thought, as I pitch it back to you, I thought she was making fun of Lita when she came out with her head kind of down and mopey with the sunglasses and punk rock gear. I thought she was mocking Lita and she was going to say something about it and her attitude was going to change, but it didn't. She remained kind of mopey the whole way in and out, which then I had to retroactively think, was she dressing that way to kind of highlight what you said, that she's a big fan of Lita, she idolizes Lita, so here she is dressing a little bit like a punk rocker because of Lita and being sad because Lita's trying to take her title. What did you think of Becky's specific presentation?
I have to tell you that with both her and Seth Rollins now, I've become so enthralled with their outfits that I almost forget because I feel like that's where they're having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of, it's almost like a fashion show for them. Yeah. So I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it. I'm sorry. Yeah. I didn't notice it. I don't know what you feel.
Well, I saw it, and what's his name? Corey Graves mentioned that she looked like the lady from Fight Club. I forgot her name now.
Oh,
Helena Bonham Carter. Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but her character name.
Oh, the actual character
from Fight Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And he mentioned it. Yeah, he mentioned it, and I started laughing. I was like, "Holy shit, she kind of does."
Yeah.
You know, like she just walked up to a laundromat and just took somebody's clothes and was like, "All right, I'm going out to the ring." But at the same time, I saw what they were trying to do with like giving the shout out to Lita, like, "Hey, this is my idol." I think, you know, it might be in poor taste, but I think, especially since Becky mentioned it before, she needed to have her thong come up through her pants.
Yeah.
And just be like, "Hey, look, I'm a big fan. You know, why are you doing this to me?" Playing the victim card.
Mm.
And, you know, I think that would have like stapled it more. Mm-hmm. Instead, she kind of looked like more like Ariana Grande wearing the extra large sweatshirts that she does.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, I think it's all about just getting to wear cool shit. And they wear her and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins showed up on Pat's show, and I thought the fucking outfit was awesome. Like, did you watch the Seth Rollins interview on Pat's show?
No, I'll check it out this week, but no, I didn't.
Oh my god, that was before Lesnar. So Lesnar's the most recent. So again, when I think I can't like a guy more, I see him on real. I'm like, oh, I like this guy. I'm telling you, I think with them, it's like, hey, we're the best. We're the fucking best. If I could take two people from any roster and start my own shit, I would take Becky and Seth. Because I just love, like, there's fucking work. They put in so much effort, and then they're sinking money into the. I don't know if the WWE pays for those outfits.
They don't.
But they have some nice ass outfits, man. I gotta give them a lot of credit. They wear check out shit I would never fucking be caught dead in.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Did you saw the Broken Skull with Becky, yeah?
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah. I watched it twice actually. And I was like, oh, I watched this already.
Kev, did you see the Broken Skull with Becky yet?
Mm-mm.
Hey, what was the most
when you get the chance,
you
what's that?
I said when you get a chance, check it out. You'll like it. But I know you like all of them whenever you get a chance to check it out. So it's just another one of the ones where it's like, you know, put it in your watch list, and whenever you do, you do. There's nothing like imperative where it's all like, oh, you're not going to get this if you don't watch this thing. You're just going to enjoy it when you finally get the chance to sit down and watch it, and it's worth the watch. One of the things to me that came across real strong with Becky was that it wasn't important to her to be the first. It was important to her that she wasn't the last. That everything she's doing is to not only get through the glass ceiling, but to take out the frame that held the glass. Like, she wants to make sure that the industry is more welcoming to women, that the women that are in the locker room are stronger than they were every day before they were there. You know, that she doesn't want anyone coming out of any program with her or working with her that's not ready to take over when they can take it over. You know what I mean? Like,
Did they pass the torch?
Like, pass the torch, but it was like building the fire to light the next torch too. You know what I mean? Like for her, it's about building women's wrestling, not about being on top of women's wrestling. And I think that there's a very mental difference there than a lot of other people have. Go ahead.
Can I give my opinion on this, Kev? This is literally, her answer was literally a Chris Marsh. Like, this is why I'm doing this. And it's so great because. And that's when I realized Becky doesn't need to be the champion anymore. That's how she's kind of transcended the sport. And it's good. Just spend, it's not even an hour, I don't think. It's good. It's worth it.
I think it's an hour and a half, that one. But yeah,
can you download those on like iTunes podcast?
I don't think so. They should.
That's
they definitely should.
We need to do that or Spotify or whatever. I mean, whatever you use, I don't care. But because you don't need to see, it's just Stone Cold and her sitting every once in a while, like Stone Cold will drink with somebody. Like it's usually like Kevin Nash or the Undertaker. They drink a lot. But I'll just say it's great. They're good interviews. And he knows how to ask the right wrestling related questions, I think.
Yeah. But there's a couple moments in here, like when he shows the title exchange between Charlotte and Becky, he puts it on the air and goes, let's watch it. As it's happening, Becky, you can see her look away. She doesn't want to watch it. And you can see the look on Becky's face and you go, oh shit, she's still frustrated at this. Like, yeah, it's worth the visual.
Yeah, that was it.
Let's get a little bit away from that. It was just pretty cool. Just check it out. Anyone who hasn't seen it. But yeah, the Lita Becky Lynch match coming up for Elimination Chamber. Pretty cool. The Becky presentation. I was positive I knew what was happening until after it ended and I realized I have no idea what just happened. You know what I mean? I was like, let me reevaluate this all together. Which I think is also awesome that Becky Lynch is on that level of being able to take people who read too much into it on a whole journey without being able to read too much into it. Personally.
Like I said, I feel like she could be not the champion and still be the best women's wrestler on the roster, and I don't think anybody would bat it on.
Yeah, it's just going to be a careful balance. Put it on the right person at the right time and stuff, but it's a balance, yeah. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that's what makes a great superstar is that you don't have to have the title and still be a great superstar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, not many people can possess that.
And I think putting it on the right champion afterwards is imperative because you don't want to end up in a situation where you have so many stars who don't care about the title that it makes the title seem not important. So having a star level like Becky hold the title is great. But now when you put it on the next person and Becky can be in storylines that don't involve the title, those storylines are going to be important because it's Becky. You got to make sure you put the title on somebody who is also very important so it doesn't diminish the importance of the title necessarily. You know what I mean? Because that's a delicate balance and it's not always done right. Sometimes they put it on somebody and you go, oh, well, I don't care about the title at all. You know, like...
yeah.
And I think they'll sort it out. Let's see. I don't want us to go on forever, but I do want to talk about the gauntlet match. Because this is another one.
Stupid.
You didn't like the gauntlet match?
I hated it.
You didn't like Rhea?
I didn't mind it.
Well, you just said you hated it.
No. I didn't mind Rhea in it. I hate the concept of it, rather. Because the Elimination Chamber is basically a gauntlet match in a cage.
Yeah.
So why the fuck have a fucking gauntlet match to see who comes out last? And especially when you don't know the last person. And then they just kind of had another fucking stupid therapy session. And Alexa Bliss is now the sixth member. Like, to me, there's so many things that could have done better with that. Like, whoever...
Which, by the way, I called last week. Remember that?
No, I wasn't here.
Oh, yeah. Last week I said next week.
I'm returning.
Yeah.
What did you say? Last week you said...
Well, last week I said that next week on Raw, Alexa Bliss is probably going to finish her therapy and they're going to announce her in the Elimination Chamber match.
Dude, you fucking did call that. He did. I meant to give him props right away. He fucking called that. And by the way, I love the Alexa Bliss. All you fucks on the internet, I hate it. I want the story. And that the guy that played the psychologist, he's like a serious character actor. Oh, by the way, Lexi Kaufman was at the FanDuel sports show on Saturday right before the Super Bowl and played an event, and I bet for her and she won. Actually, I didn't bet for her because the system crashed, but I would have bet her. because she grew up playing air hockey and she beat Emmett Smith in an air hockey match. It was awesome. And she got interviewed. But it was so funny because Ty Schmidt, one of Pat McAfee's guys, was like, Lexa Bliss was awesome. And Pat kept going, it's Lexi Kaufman. Because I guess, you know, there's legal reasons why she was Lexi Bliss.
Yeah, you got to separate the two.
Yeah.
She's not in
and I was like, wow, she's cool, man. I was a fan.
Matter of fact, there was an Alexa Bliss meet and greet when they're doing the digital ones, where before the meet and greet, they said, don't ask her about The Fiend. This isn't an in-character meet and greet. It's the performer,
it's Lexi. Kaufman.
Yeah, and so there was like a whole thing where it's like, don't talk to her like she's obsessed with Lily. Like, you know, don't ask her about The Fiend. It was a whole thing. So yeah.
Actually, really appreciate that as a fan.
Yeah.
Because this is for fun and show wrestling. And I got a little bit of that. I don't know if Marshy told you, but I kind of hung out with Paige, a.k.a. Soraya something. Soraya, as they call her, on Twitch. Cool, man. She's really fucking cool. I donated a shit ton of money to her page, more than I probably should have. Like 50 subscriptions via Twitch, but was like, hey, this girl looks like Paige. I was like, I didn't know it was her, and then I got on there and I was like, oh, this is totally Paige. And I asked her, I said, hey, what do you miss most about not competing? And she just said she just misses the in-ring stuff. She doesn't miss any of the back of the stage stuff, and she doesn't miss any of that other stuff. It was cool, man. And she's fucking cool. She's really cool. I was a big fan as a person. Like, again, I saw the movie, but I never saw her wrestle. I didn't see any of her wrestling. You know, that was all me not watching wrestling time frame. So
I think Kev ran into her once at a bar, right?
Kind of. Yeah.
Nice.
He's like, I shouldn't talk about it.
What did you say? You saw her from afar going in while you're standing in line? Is that what you mean?
No. I've heard more story than that, but we can keep it moving. Yeah, so I personally also love the Alexa Bliss therapy stuff. I'm done with it. I'm ready for it to be over. I'm glad that was the last therapy session. But I enjoyed this because I realized we're on a couple weeks of this. I just wrote it like I did the Firefly Funhouse when I was coming through. Like, you want to get to the end, but you also realize, hey, it's gonna be a bit. And I just approached it the same way, and I enjoyed it. And I thought she did a tremendous job acting. And again, I think she's on loan until Hollywood just fucking steals her from us. What do you gonna say, Kev?
No, 100% what you just said, but I hated the therapy shit. I've been waiting for it to be over. I think I thought when they first were doing it, they're transitioning from, you know, the Alexa Fiend or whatever they called it, back to normal Alexa.
Yeah.
And, you know, for him, the therapist to come back and be like, oh, I brought this thing that triggers you, you know, this and that, blah, blah. Like, I thought it dragged on too long.
It was an extra week than I think it needed to be, but also she did lighten up. I think she's going to be somewhat of a hybrid. I don't think she's going back like the Fiend thing never happened, but I don't think she's going to be going forward like she was with Lily before. I think we're going to get a little bit of a hybrid. Her makeup was lighter. The dreads were combed out of her hair. You know what I mean? Like, it does seem like she's closer to the goddess than she used to be, but not so far removed from the Lily thing. You know what I mean? I can't wait to what we see in her entrance at Chamber and what we see after that. And I think, if anything, that's all you can ask for, especially because I know I'm going to be watching wrestling for the next 10 years. I can sacrifice a couple weeks and watch this play out so I get a good reason on why she's not going to come out and be exactly like she was the last time we saw her. You know what I mean? Like, I could sacrifice a couple weeks, but I agree. It could have been a week shorter. But if it's just leading to this match anyways.
Yeah, but I also just hate the way they announced it.
Yeah, that was funny. It was because it was funny to me because it was dumb. Just like, I'm free Saturday.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
So stupid.
I was for it. Marsh called it last week. If you were on the show, I was like, Dun, 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 Marsh called it. I was so happy. I was like, oh, Marsh called it. I gotta say this. She was out for a reason, maybe injury, whatever. I fucking loved it. I'm sad you didn't like it. I'm sad for you that you don't like cool things.
No, it wasn't cool.
I just want to say, like, what a great way to make character relevant.
But see,
Man, I was a big fan of it.
But see, you also
forget
have
about it. You forget about the person, though, Kev.
No, wait. No, 100%. But the thing is that you haven't watched wrestling recently to see how many different therapy sessions there's been.
That's true. We've had a lot of therapy. That's a good point.
Past few years.
But hey, that's why it's good to me.
It's 100%. That's why you're liking it. But it's run its course the last 3, 4, 5 fucking times they've done therapy sessions.
Well, and every
I'll
time
say
you
this.
say that, I feel bad for liking it, but I also feel like, thank God I took a break because. I am happy. I'm happy that I get to see some of the stuff that you guys are burned out on, and I'm not burned down on it. And I think that's what makes it different for me.
Yes.
So,
but I will say also,
yeah.
When they first showed it, she was going to therapy. My first thought was, "Oh, fuck this." But by the end of it, I was happy with where we were going with it and what made it different than a lot of those other therapy sessions. So I actually see both sides of this completely down the middle. Where the first therapy session, I went, "Fuck this! I can't believe we're doing therapy a fucking again." But it did win me over probably week 2 or 3, where I was like, "Okay, this is what we're doing." And I just approached it like Funhouse and less like therapy. I think is what it was because they've done the therapy thing to death.
Well, and the great thing about you, Marsh, is you always have an open mind when it comes to WWE. I mean, the only thing you don't get is a retirement and paycheck from them because you sell them so well. I'll just say this, like your own bias got in the way, like Kev, but you are so pro that brand. You're like, I'm going to give it a chance. Where I didn't have any of those thoughts. I'm like, this is cool. I don't know anything about this character. I missed all of the Bray Wyatt stuff, which is fucking heartbreaking because I keep telling you guys that element is missing from the WWE.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw Kev last week. They signed WWE signed the Boogeyman, and so he might be coming back. So that'd be cool. Maybe they could
be cool.
You know,
depending how they do that could be cool. I just don't like seeing the worms, man.
I was gonna say eater of worms.
That's fucking gross. I don't like it either. But like, let's get like, the Undertaker.
And
coming out of retirement.
You know what's even crazier is, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but the guy that plays the Boogeyman, he's like in his mid-50s.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's still just as toned as ever. He's a beast.
Well, he's black, so he looks 25. So there's that. Fucking bastard.
But you can't see his face. We're talking about his body here.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't matter, dude. I was in the fucking military with dudes that were fucking 10 years older than me. They're black and they look chiseled as fuck. And they did the same exercises I was doing. So
and again, I mean, look at Bobby Lashley. That guy's a fucking specimen.
Yeah, he's my age and he's fucking also military. I fucking love that guy too, man. So he's so good. Fan of him.
Let's circle back real quick. Although hit the chat and then we're gonna circle back to the gauntlet real quick before we put the button on it.
I'm sorry, I did not see. Grim Reaper said, "Did anyone have a feeling that Alexa was going to be in the?" Well, you missed it, Grim Reaper. Last week, Marsh called it, and then Dr. Shelby with the Team Hell No is the gold standard of therapy sessions.
To give context to what Grim Reaper's saying, Grim Reaper is also a not Sam Shell. He supports Sam Roberts' podcast, and so do I. And on Sam Roberts' Thursday podcast, he specifically named me and said, Marsh, because I told Sam it was going to be Alexa, and he said, why would they waste it if she's already on TV? He said they wouldn't do that. And I was like, Sam, they're going to announce it on Raw. She's going to finish therapy and then just go into the chamber. And he goes, that's ridiculous. They're not going to do that. And then he started speculating a bunch of stuff. He called me out on his podcast and said my name specifically. Said, Marsh thinks it's going to be Alexa. This is why it's not. And then trashed my theory. And then immediately after that, the exact thing that I said was going to happen happened, and I made a stink of it in Sam's chat.
You should tell the motherfucker he owes you $100 or some shit. Fucking son of a bitch.
He made a joke saying something like the podcast will be hosted by Marsh from now on.
Whose ass do I need to kick?
It was good. It was all good.
We'll be right back.
Cool. Since we heard from Kev what he thought about the gauntlet match, Beard, what did you think about the gauntlet match and Rhea Ripley showing here? I'll just say this as I pitch it to you real quick. I think the entire gauntlet match, I understand what Kev's saying. He doesn't like stipulations that determine those things or a match that's very similar to the Elimination Chamber going into it. All I got out of this was that they were trying to build Rhea as a credible threat for the Chamber, and we believe that now. And they were also trying to build Bianca as the favorite to win, which we also have now. They did it in one segment. That's how I felt about it. What did you feel about the gauntlet match?
Yeah, I agree with you. Look, when do you not want to see Rhea or Bianca or any of those
or Liv
folks, or Liv? You know what I'm saying? Like, when do you not want to see them wrestle? So again, this goes back to my earlier statement of stop bitching and just enjoy the fucking shit that's presented in front of you. Because guess what? You're not changing it. I'm taking a positive approach to everything, and if I don't like something, I'll tell you I don't like it, and I'll tell you the reasons why. And usually you'll give me a good reason why I should like it, and then I end up agreeing with you anyway. So because you understand the business a bit, and look, man, if you have any ability to get into the insight of that fucking 72-year-old man named Vince McMahon, which I believe you do, hey man, good for you, because not many people do know what he's doing. And I think you don't need to. I think people just need to sometimes go, you know what, this is it. I'm going to enjoy it. Let me enjoy this. And I want to watch Rhea Ripley and I want to watch Bianca Belair in matches. Yeah. And the storyline needs to be there. I would love more story, but those are two that I don't necessarily want to see in competition.
Yeah, I love that they even kind of hugged at the end, and Bianca, you could see her mouthing, "I'm sorry" to Rhea after she won. She's like, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Because
like, who doesn't like her? I bet you Rhea Ripley is so fucking cool. I would party with her. Like, I would want to drink some fucking shots with her. She's fucking cool. And I'm not, she's cool, man. Like, and no, I don't think she's emasculating or anything like that. I just think she's fucking cool. She's a fucking cool Australian chick that I would love to fucking drink some shots with. And I love watching her work in the ring. I didn't know what they were going to do with the Nikki ASH stuff, but I'm enjoying that too, man, because it's not the most plausible thing, but it's cool. Yeah, and I just got to enjoy it, right? Like, let's fucking enjoy it.
Yeah, I'd give you that for sure. I also feel like that Rhea Ripley's someone you could see in an action film tomorrow, and you wouldn't even bat an eye at it. You would buy into it.
And Grim Reaper says in the chat, Ripley will be women's champion either brand in 2022. And you know what, Grim Reaper? I hope she is, because she's fucking awesome.
And I will tell you this. If you told me that last week, I'd say I don't fucking know, man. But after this week's Raw, with the showing they let her have in that gauntlet match, I'd say, yep, that's exactly what we're back on track for. It's been a while since she's had that kind of showing, that kind of oomph behind her. We even talked about it Mania last year, Kev. Remember how she won the title off of Asuka? And we're kind of like, that was kind of weird and flat for a championship win. Because I feel like, and this is one of those things where, I'd be happy to find out in a couple years how wrong I am, but I feel like that loss to Charlotte derailed so much. It just collapsed the tower that was Rhea Ripley. And she's been rebuilding ever since. And I feel like this was a pivotal moment in rebuilding that aura that she had. Let's go to Kevin. Okay, go ahead. Before
you talk, Kev, I want to say this. It's about career building, and Bishop would say this about the ability of Becky Lynch to build a career, and I am with you. I just think they needed to build her back up a little bit. Yep. And there's not a good diehard wrestling fan that doesn't fucking love everything that Rhea Ripley brings to the fucking table. I'm super excited to see more of her in the squared circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But two things. First, you shouldn't take shots with Rhea. You should do a shoey from Australia.
Shooey.
Yeah. Second, I didn't like the gauntlet, not because of the stipulation. I'm okay with the stipulation. If the stipulation was there and it was a, almost like a mini rumble.
Yeah.
And, last person, cool. But for Rhea, especially, 5 days away from the event that she has to fly across the world to, is exerting herself, makes her look fucking dumb. And this is what I hate, where a lot of things that they do makes the performer look stupid. I realize you're trying to get, the number one spot, and that's fine. But, I don't know. Maybe I just want the heel to come out and say, okay, ding, ding, ding. And then they walk off and be like, all right, I don't care. I'm going to preserve myself.
Which is a thing Kevin Owens would do. A Kevin Owens character would 100% do that. Take the loss and walk out and say, I'm smart. I'm saving myself.
Yeah.
I'll say this, though. I 100% see what you're saying. I think this is a twofold. A, Rhea Ripley is a fighting babyface, and the babyfaces are always fighting for something kind of a deal. And I feel like that the psychology is that she's willing to exert herself more now to try and have the advantage in being the last one in later. Like, if I put all my effort in now, then I can save myself at Elimination Chamber, be last, and get a quick win. Whereas what we're going to end up seeing is we see a fighting Rhea Ripley hold strong for 45 minutes, get
and
believably...
that's the stupid part.
That's the stupid part. But the psychology on the crowd side is we see her fight for 45 minutes. Now we think she has a shot in that we know that she can go for long periods of time. Now in the chamber, we're going to be invested in her, but she's going to be selling that she's weakened from the night before. So if she loses, A, she doesn't look that weak because she exerted herself before. And B, as she gets false finishes, we're going to think, holy shit, she's so strong that she's fighting even now after the fact. It doubles up her strength factor for what's after the chamber, because I don't think she's going to win the chamber, but it keeps her in that ultimate fighter, never say die kind of attitude mentality. Does that make sense?
It does. No, it does 100%. But like I said, the stupid part is you've been fighting for 45 minutes just to get a 20-minute advantage, which is stupid.
But a cage, you don't want to be in the cage if you don't have to be.
Well, I mean, Kev, they gotta develop storyline with as many as they can of the players they can at some point. So we bitch that they're not doing enough. We can't complain when they actually do something. Now, we should be poignant. We should be poignant and thought provoking in what we don't like about what they're doing, and say, hey, I'm glad they're selling this character, but I wish they would have done it this way. Yeah. But ultimately, it's not going to change what they did, right? So we just have to say, do you like Rhea Ripley? Do you want to see her get over? He does.
But Kev's also really good at fantasy booking and such. What would you do, Kev? Yeah, don't tell me I like someone I like.
Don't tell me what to do.
No, it was a question. I didn't say anything.
No, I did. I did.
Yeah.
I put words in his mouth. That's what he's yelling at, not you. But I'm saying Kev's really good at fantasy booking. How would you have booked the thing there? Because like you heard me say, I think we have a strong looking Rhea and a strong looking Bianca.
You do, but at the same time, Bianca came in last, so I don't know if you have a strong looking Bianca.
I meant strong in that she looks like she could potentially win the chamber. She's a favorite to win now.
Because
she's
100%.
not gassed
now
and
she's
she's
coming
the
in last.
Exactly.
Yeah, she came in, but see, to me, that's a heel's spot.
Yes.
The heel comes in last, and the heel then is going into the chamber last because they knocked off one person.
It's kind of why I don't think Bianca's going to win. Everyone thinks it's going to be Bianca and she's a shoo-in.
I don't think she is. I don't think she is either.
And I don't know who I want it to win if it's not Bianca, if I'm being honest.
Well, if they're facing Becky, which it's looking like it's Becky. I think it is Rhea. I think they're building up Rhea right now. Rhea's going to win it. Excuse me. I'd be okay with it too. Until Marsh said that I would be okay with it. Now I'm not okay with it.
Okay.
But no, I'm just kidding. but I just hate because Bianca, that was one of the things I didn't like about her character a lot of times is they made her look stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying cheat to win, Eddie Guerrero style, but at the same time, don't, bite off more than you can chew and fucking choke.
Yes. Which also Becky used against her ultimately. The fact that they always made Bianca biting off more than she can chew and being kind of stupid is exactly how Becky came in and beat her in 26 seconds because she's like, I've been watching you. You got a lot of ego. You think a lot of yourself. You can usually pull it up, but can you pull it up when it's someone who's more conniving than you? And the answer was no.
And speaking of the fantasy booking, like the way I would have done it is first off, I hate, like, I don't know if it's because I watched it on Hulu, but I hate the way that they did the commercial breaks where they kept giving Rhea breaks for, 2-3 minutes. Go out there, start fighting, because I could just imagine how, traditionally how they do live shows is how boring that was for the live audience. All right, coming out here, and then they just stood there for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, back from commercial break. Yeah, ding, ding, ding. All right, let's go. Like I said, I don't know if they did it traditionally or what, but with Rhea, I think that's where you needed the shortcomings. Because like I said, she was in there for 45 minutes, ultimately didn't win for a 20-minute advantage. Yeah. And that's where you need the heel move. I don't know if it's Nikki, like the number one person, or, Rhea was number one, Nikki was number two, I guess, or vice versa. But Nikki saying, hey, I don't want any of you, which continues their storyline because, now that they're at odds, she walks away. And then all of a sudden, Rhea's not in there for almost 10 more minutes.
Oh, have a couple of the heels just back out and then save Rhea some?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grim Reaper says, how can Alexa get pinned with her returning? It wouldn't work unless some voodoo magic happens and she disappears in the match. And then he also says, an Alexa return loss isn't appealing to me. So he thinks Alexa is going to win.
And I see that. And that's what ultimately makes me upset about Alexa being in the chamber. Especially the way that they just announced it. Like, I'm free. I'm going to fly across the country and I'll be there.
Okay, but at the same... Well, yeah, for one, that's funny. But two, I don't agree with the sentiment. Just based off solely, like, the idea of someone like Alexa returning and losing, do you think she's really going to be pushed down to the bottom of the card because she loses one time in Elimination Chamber? Like, she holds a ton of records. She's got the pedigree. Remember when John Cena lost the title Elimination Chamber? And we're like, well, are they really going to have him go lose it in his first defense in a chamber? And he was like the first or second person eliminated. And we're like, I guess fucking so. And then we're watching this whole chamber match without John Cena thinking, who the fuck's going to be champion? If John Cena can drop the title effectively in fucking the first 2 minutes of a chamber match, then Alexa can lose at the end of an elimination. It's not going to hurt her. Yeah, it won't hurt.
No, yeah. She's been gone. So are we clamoring for her to be in the thing? I think they have time to build her character into the next.
Well,
right.
That's the way I look at the chamber match is. Who do we want to see face Becky?
Yeah.
We've already seen Doudrop. We've already seen Bianca. Excuse me. Alexa would be cool, but too soon.
Yep.
It just doesn't fit the storyline. Rhea. Excuse me. God damn.
Stop.
Rhea. I'm sorry. Rhea, to me, is going to do it. They're the ones that they're building up, and it just, it makes sense to me.
Here's my fear, though. If it's Rhea, right now Rhea's 1-1 at WrestleMania. She lost her first Mania match against Charlotte. She won her Mania match against Asuka. Are you going to have Rhea win that Raw title back-to-back WrestleManias? I think a win over Becky would be way more impactful than the win over Asuka. But still,
100%.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have her win it because Becky's, at the top right now, and we've already discussed that Becky could be Becky without the belt.
Mm-hmm.
And Rhea, to me, still needs the rebound against Charlotte.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rhea needs to put her foot in the ground and say, "Bitch, I'm here."
That's true. That's true, and yeah. And
Well,
then you have Ronda
what
take
we
the
really
title.
want is Charlotte to not be involved at all, right? I mean, that would be the
If Ronda could pull a Brandy Rhodes, that'd be great.
Hey, as a guy who watched a lot. Hey, by the way, did you guys watch UFC this weekend?
Yes.
As a guy who did not want Ronda Rousey to win in UFC, I have never wanted her to win more in the WWE, and I loved her promo against. I got to give her a shit. I love her promo. Grim Reaper says, an Alexa return loss is an appeal to me. I said that already, didn't I? I apologize.
Yep.
I just have to say, Ronda, I want to see her beat Charlotte.
What I think would be
100%.
nice is Ronda beat Charlotte, and Charlotte. So let's say Rhea beats Becky, Ronda beats Charlotte, and you have Charlotte show up to challenge Rhea right afterwards, and you have Becky show up to challenge Ronda right afterwards. You can have them both go in their opposite storylines, and what I'd really like is to see Rhea defend the title and maintain the title after 1 or 2 matches against Charlotte to really put a hammer down that I am better than Charlotte, because I think that would mean a lot after Charlotte derailed her career so hard. You want to say what Grim Reaper's saying? Because the whole world has been saying it.
Grim Reaper says Bianca needs her official rematch against Becky for the
For
that's
WrestleMania. Everyone says that. I don't know that I feel that way.
No.
I feel like I could take it to SummerSlam. I don't need it at Mania.
well, but you know
to me,
in fairness, though, Kev, let me just say this: they've done a really good job of killing Bianca.
What?
I don't feel like Bianca has been put over that much after she lost her 3-second match or whatever the fuck it is.
she's
been
got
awesome.
every opportunity in the world.
Yeah, she hasn't
What?
lost a single match since that match. She's been strong and relevant. She's been in matches that mean nothing, but just been matches on TV and winning. Like, they're keeping her
Well,
hot.
see, this is where I come from, where Bianca's not gonna be at me against Becky. Is Bianca was the last main event, and it was great with Sasha.
Yeah, it was good.
But I think they put a Rhea versus Becky, which will gain much steam, and I think, truthfully, Becky will still win that. And then the next month, they have Bianca win Money in the Bank.
Oh.
And then now, all of a sudden, she's lurking, like a great white, waiting for her opportunity against Becky.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see a Bianca Money in the Bank. That could be good. Because then that also keeps... Because they've been sizzling on Bianca. So to have her with Money in the Bank just constantly looming as I'm any second away from taking that title, that could be cool.
Yeah, once again, it's not if, it's when.
Yeah.
It's not if I get this
Grim Reaper
opportunity.
says in the chat that Ronda will beat Charlotte, and I agree. We need that. That has to.
The world needs it.
We need Ronda to kick the fucking... And by the way, is there any question in real life that Ronda would fuck up Charlotte? Ronda would fuck up you, me, and Marsh all at the same time. So
Yeah. But
so I am good. And you know what? I am 100% a Ronda Rousey fan when it comes to WWE. I want Ronda to know that. I want the IWC to know that. I want people to stop fucking shitting on Ronda. I want people that bring up her dad committing suicide to go fucking rot in hell and die because they're pieces of shit. I am for Ronda, and I want Ronda to do well. And I want to see Ronda be as successful as Ronda is able to be. She deserves it. She's worked her fucking ass off for it. She went to the Olympics for this country. She's an American. I'm a fan. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go, Rhonda.
USA.
Oh, Grim Reaper
USA.
back goes. Bianca would be an MITB winner, Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank.
That would announce her match ahead of maybe SummerSlam. And I agree. I think here's what I
She
say.
probably would, and that'll irritate the shit out of me. But at the same time, I think she needs to,
I think
Well,
she could do it
that-
great too, because she could even say, "Look, I'll tell you when. I won it at the anniversary to when you stole it from me. I'm gonna steal it from you." You know what I mean? Like,
Hey, you know what? Grim Reaper, 7,000,000% right.
yeah.
Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Bianca is how you settle that. And
But see, and I hate that. I hate when the Money in the
well,
Bank.
the problem is, Kev,
announces
we talk
it.
about this
I
every
hate it.
week. The women's roster is fucking stacked.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
so hard to fucking juggle all these pieces to keep them relevant. But look,
But
okay,
see, I think
name a woman who
that's,
right now on the roster could not be champion, not convinced, right? Nikki ASH was already a champion. Rhea Ripley could be a champion. Bianca has been a champion, could be a champion. Sasha Banks could be a champion. Obviously, Becky Lynch could be a champion. Charlotte, okay, whatever.
Dewdrop was convincing, and so was Liv.
Dewdrop should be a champion.
Yeah, Liv.
Dewdrop should have beat
but
Becky
see,
Lynch.
I think
Becky
I
Lynch should
think-
have had to earn her title back at Elimination Chamber, in my fucking in my
Okay,
thing.
okay. What do you think, Kev?
But see, I think Bianca, like, if she were to win Money in the Bank, I think she probably would be the ones to call out her shot. But I think she should be playing more mind games against Becky than anything else. Because, I mean, Big E never did that. He called out his shot. John Cena called his shot and didn't really play mind games.
Well, so I think that Bianca would play mind games similar to how I think Big E played mind games, where he would show up and laugh in people's faces and, oh, am I going to do it here or there? But I do agree that she should do it more so where she like actually walks out to the ring and dangles it in front of them in the middle of a match or something. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Well, exactly. And that's what I was saying. Big E didn't truly, like, flaunt it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, there was the ending of the match. Big E runs out there and looks with the briefcase in hand. The ref's like trying to grab it, and Big E's like, "Nah, I'm good."
Nah.
You know, if Bianca did something like that several times to Becky, Becky would finally be like, "Just tell me when. Tell me when. Let's go. I'm
Fucking do
sick
it."
of this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And even if she does,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, even if she doesn't call out her shot, you know, like weeks leading up, she can call out her shot like on a pre-show or
Yeah.
something.
Oh yeah, tonight.
You know, where Becky doesn't have a match and says, "All right, it's right now,"
Yeah.
and you know, Twitter sphere would go off and,
Yeah.
"Hey,
That'd be
you
cool.
have to tune in. This is gonna happen tonight. It wasn't announced."
And because when you think about it with Big E too, not only did he only taunt in weird ways, he taunted Paul Heyman more than he ever taunted Roman.
Oh yeah, Paul Heyman was scared he was gonna cash in against him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Roman had no
hey,
idea.
Marshy, I'm glad you brought that up. Did you notice that he gave a little jab to Paul Heyman even on the Pat McAfee show? So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
That.
Brock Lesnar is incredible.
He's so good. I love that guy, Brock. Best of luck, brother. I hope he's gonna win, right? He's gonna be Roman.
After that interview, I'm having a hard time believing he's not, if I'm being honest. The way he talked in that interview, I went, oh shit, I think he's going to win. Where before I was like, they might not. I feel pretty confident Brock's going to win, and I don't know how I feel about that yet. So
Well,
I'm
how
going to play
many
out.
people have beat, like 4 people in the history of WWE beat Brock? Seth Rollins.
I think it's 5 or 6, but yeah, it's not a lot.
It's
um,
really low.
Yeah. I mean, we could go on forever. I love having drinks with my drinking buddies. Any final thoughts as we get to last call here, Kevlar?
No.
You
I'll
excited
make
for the
another
pay-per-view?
good yeah, but I won't be able to watch it, so I will see you guys in like 2 weeks.
What?
3 weeks.
Oh, you're gonna miss next week because of that? I got you.
What are you not
Yeah.
gonna be able to watch?
It's like a busy time for his family right now. It's a lot of.
Oh no,
birthdays
I'm
and
sorry.
stuff.
What can't you
I
watch?
mean-
You're not gonna be able to watch Elimination Chamber. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna be hunting. So,
yeah.
What are you killing? Javelinas?
yep. Stink
Really?
bug.
You're going javelina hunting?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Really? Is that all there is in Arizona? Why don't you come to Alaska?
No.
That's not all there is.
Oh no, I go deer hunting, antelope, elk.
Hey, you know what we don't have in Alaska? Deer and antelope.
No, but you got ice
You
fishing.
guys don't have any javelinas.
Yeah, no.
Or
we
quail.
don't.
Yeah.
I think we have quail.
I don't think you have
Here's
quail.
what I'll tell you. We have ptarmigan. If we don't have quail, we have ptarmigan.
Maybe.
Here's what I'll tell you is we have deer. We have Sitka blacktail in the southeast. They're on the islands. They
They're
couldn't
reindeer.
come to the mainland because there's too many badass things. I'll just say there's 186,000 brown bears in Alaska, and there's like 600,000 people. So.
That's not bad. Not bad odds. If you're looking for a
I like
date,
them
if
odds.
Micah's still around.
Yeah.
Well, Micah, did you say something?
No, I'm saying if he's still looking for a date, he can get a brown bear.
Well, apparently he's not in high school anymore, which is creepy that he would mention getting somebody to dance and not be in high school. But anyway.
Mike is so toxic, man. It's just hard to say.
He left the chat. It's
Any final thoughts, Sports Beard, as we get to last call?
No, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for coming through and having a drink with us. We're not going to be doing a watch along this weekend. Too much stuff going on. And I want to enjoy this pay-per-view just a little bit different, so I'm not even going to do one with Micah if he asks. So if he's listening, there's no fucking way.
It's also going to be early.
It's going to be early as fuck, so I'm excited for that. I'm excited to just have a
I know.
Saturday afternoon.
It's before your noon wake-up call.
I know. I might not even be up for the first match, if I'm being honest. Sleep right through
Just
kick.
set an alarm.
Yeah.
What time does it come on?
Like noon or some shit. 11 or noon? It's on early on Saturday because it's in Saudi Arabia.
And that's for us, so like probably like 7, 8 for you.
I don't live in Hawaii, dumbass. I'm an hour difference.
Doesn't matter.
There's no difference. Alaska and Hawaii are right next to each other on the map. I've seen it. They're islands that are right next to each
and
other.
Alaska's like this big, and Hawaii's like this big. Alaska's not bigger than Washington. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah. I actually met someone once who, when I mentioned I was from Alaska, they thought it was an island because of the way the map structure was. I'm like, okay.
I've heard that from several people. It's fucking pathetic.
It's so good, dude. I love it. I love America. I love the NFL fans as we talk about how dumb they are. Guys, we're going to be back tomorrow night. I'm going to be back tomorrow night with Miss Amanda Jane and Clump as we talk about the breaking news, the big hot news of free agents Cody Rhodes and Randy Rhodes. And their soon to be impact in probably Impact Wrestling. But we'll be back tomorrow night for a brand new episode 1. Thank you guys for coming through and having a drink with us, your drinking buddies, right here on this episode 1. You can go to WrestlingOnTheRocks.com and go to any of the shop buttons there. I've put up like 4 or 5 of them, and you can get a shirt, a coffee mug, a pint glass. The winners of the Royal Rumble, one of them is picking a t-shirt, and one of them is picking a mug, and those are going to be going out probably next week. So thank you guys for coming through and having a drink with us. We'll be back for a brand new episode 1 right here in the dive bar of the IWC. That's the last call, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Woo!
Hey, Producer Lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Nice to drink by following and putting the I and subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.